Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and so sorry to keep you waiting. I was on a work-related call. Let me just double check my settings. I'm not muted. That would suck. And I had to wrap things up, and it kept continuing. And basically, I was hoping to do 9 p.m. Eastern because that's the original start time. And hold on, let me mute myself on the other screen so I don't hear the echo. And I was like, oh, God. So I had to do an extra 15 minutes and just it ended up being one of those things. And I do apologize. Sometimes that's what happens, especially if you work remotely. These things happen. So, anyway, glad to get that wrapped up. It's going to still be a good show. Again, I apologize for these delays. But in reality, it was only about 10 minutes. And it's still going to be a good show. Let's double check the other screen. I do see there's a super chat. It came from Henry Brown. He says they cloned Tyrone. Netflix. I'll have to check that out, man. You know, a show that was very disappointing that was canceled was The Get Down, right? That was also on Netflix a while back. I don't know if you ever saw that. Nas's show. Anyway, we're going to start things off with welcoming some of you guys, and then we'll get into some of the topics that we have. So, as promised from yesterday, and again, please smash that like. Let's see how we're doing on the likes real quick. 9 likes. Maybe some people are ticked off because of a little bit of a late start. Understandable, but please, it does help us reach a broader base. Please smash that like. So as promised from yesterday, we're going to get into, going from speculation to some things verified, all right, in regards to Jasmy. So this is a part 2 in regards to the Giga School concept, all right? Let me show you guys just real quick what I'm talking about in regards to that. If you were new and you don't know about some of these things, and it's fine. And basically speaking, and again, thank you again to Henry Brown for the super chat and all you guys who donate and stuff like that. It's always appreciated. You don't have to donate though, but we always do, of course, appreciate it. But what I was going to state is the deep dive research, right? So we provide you guys that type of research consistently. And again, if you missed the deep dive for Jasmy, again, this is a part 2 follow-up to the Giga School concept. And here it is, basically on the screen. I'll come out of the frame for a moment. And it's that one right there. So it's basically, I think, yesterday, give or take, maybe 2 days ago. It says a day, but depending on where you're at. And yes, the Giga School concept. Why bring up this? Well, if anything, I want to share with you guys tonight why it's so significant and why you should care, right? Because the main thing is, a lot of times we don't want nothing burgers. We don't want just speculation. Is there anything that can, as far as connecting the dots to show, Sony is a real, is the real thing. Jasmy is the chosen one of Sony. Is Max going to really get into that? You better believe I'm going to get into that. And if anything, again, it's not hype, right? The research will prove itself or present itself to you. Anyway, you guys have been waiting. See if you have any questions or comments, but we have a wonderful community here, and the main thing is recognizing our patient community. So let's start things off with, I don't know if it's the first comment because of the delay, but nonetheless, it comes from this guy, the one and only Boomer Effing Sooner. Yes, you could very well be at that 50-yard line. You could be at that 40, and depending on the motion, you could be at that 30. But sooner or later, you get to the 20. Then you get to the 10. And then it ends up being touchdown. And literally the whole household's yelling out, Boomer effing Sooner! Thank you for being here, Mr. Boomer effing Sooner. And again, I just want to point out to everybody out there, there's no judgments. Whatever you do while we're doing the research on the live in the background is more than okay. So have a good time. Kick back, relax, and you bust out some of your fat juice. This time it's watermelon. And if anything, we're going to have a good lineup for you tonight. Corey B-Base in the house. He's got some ISO 222 coins on his avatar. What do we got real quick? You got some Stellar XRP Quant. You got some IOTA. You got some Cardano. Yeah, you know what? That is something that we don't necessarily cover all the time, Cardano. I have a lot of it. Some of you guys have a lot of it. I see, I think Algo on the bottom left is cut off. XDC. So awesome. Very, very awesome. And shout out to you, Mr. Corey B-Bay. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. All right, we're going to go further into more comments. Just welcome a few more of you guys and so on. I know I got to get with it and so on because, some of you guys got to get up early for work, right? Me, you guys, next guy, right? Let's also welcome Brittany. Hello, Brittany. Yes, is it Brittany we're looking for? Well, I know Richie from the other side. Anyway, thank you for being here, Brittany. Appreciate your ongoing support as well. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. When I was dead broke, man, I couldn't picture this. 500-inch screen at the movies. Got a limousine with my homies or something. I don't know. I'm trying to do a remix. Didn't work out too well, but thank you very much. Why did I say it like that big? Because at the end of the day, who doesn't have a 50-inch screen at this point? You know what I mean? Like literally, I had an 85-inch. My girlfriend left me, right? And she took the 85-inch. She told me I could have it back, but that's beyond the point. I got a 55-inch here. So it's common for people to have these big screen TVs now. And I mentioned, 500-inch because I'm referring to like movie theater size stuff. When we get to that utility run, why would we not settle for something awesome in the future, right? That's the bottom line. All right. Please smash that like. We're probably not doing the greatest in regards to attendance tonight. It's okay. Maybe there's some fear of the market. I don't know. Maybe people just didn't like the idea of waiting an extra 10 minutes. Who knows? There's other shows going on as we speak, right? It's Wednesday. Let me just double check. Is Crypto Hulk on a live? Is that what's going on? Let me see what's going on. So I do see Sean the Crypto Smith is up in the house. Nice. Well, glad to have Sean back, man. Good to see you, old friend. All right, well, I'm gonna see what's going on. Basically speaking, I think there is some other shows going on. So yeah, maybe that's the whole thing that's going on right now. All right, that's okay, right? Not everybody does a show 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, right? That's the bottom line. All right, so get more into it. Mr. Lambo's Crypto Talk is in the house. Obviously, Brian Dowie, thank you. Also want to welcome Mr. Tim Shea, Mayor Crypto Commissioner, representing the 589th District of the XRP Army, representing his constituents. River is in the house. Thank you for being here, Mr. River. Listen to us from his, I don't know, I guess your workbench or something like that. You have a nice little area you said that you listen to us from while working. That's so cool. Shout out to our truckers out there and so on. Cody Core is in the house. Speaking of which, I thought I'd give you guys a heads up. Again, please smash the like. We are at 17 likes. I've gotten like 3 requests lately, like all at once. It's kind of weird. So the original one was, what was it, on 2-Bit show, and we're gonna have to. I gotta get together with him on that. I didn't hear back from him, but maybe he wants me to just reach out to him. So if I do a show with 2-Bit, I can't do it Monday through Friday for the most part, unless I don't know, just that time is like not going to work out, right? But unless something else changes. But for the most part, on the weekend, I think he does a weekend show, so I might do an early show with him because I don't expect him to stay up to 4 a.m. So that's going to happen. But tomorrow, I'll be a special guest over on Teddy Ganja's channel, right? The Crypto Future, okay? And I will be over there with him at 8:15 p.m. Eastern. So basically 45 minutes before our show starts, give or take, right? Sometimes we start 15 minutes, the little wiggle room and so on. So anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, I'll be over there tomorrow. You can check it out before our show. Shout out to him. All right, let's go further into some more comments. Welcome a few more of you guys. Obviously, Crypto Smith is here. So glad to see you back, Sean. Really glad to see you, man. Selmo Fudd is in the house. Crypto Talk Now. What up, Max? What up, Mr. Selmo Fudd? Just trying to see if there's anybody else that we didn't welcome. Let's read this. Mr. Lambos, which are you guys most bullish on? XLM, XRP, XDC? I don't know, man. As of recently, I'm going to have to go with XRP, believe it or not. I think probably number 2 would be XDC, just based on some dates coming up, right? But obviously, I'm bullish on all 3 of them. All right. We also got Cody Core saying H-bar. What else we got up in this house? On the Hizzle. All right. Ahmed is in the house. Keep that avatar, Ahmed. because when election day comes next year, I'll always remember that face of all the people that are like, I voted. All right. Do you want a cookie? At the end of the day, you're supposed to do that, but I voted. Okay. Again, I will give you a button of literally Ahmed with that face. That's just the way I look at it. All right. Mr. Lambos. Max, hopefully that important call you were on was involving getting Dame Lillard to Miami ASAP. Want to know something? As you guys know, I'm a Suns/Blazers fan, right? Born and raised a Blazers fan. Number one. Number two, a close number two is Suns, but if they're in the playoffs, and this has happened before, I got to root for my Blazers. Now, my thing is this: Dame Lillard going to Miami. I say let him go to Miami. The guy deserves to win. You know what I mean? Just like back in the day, I was a huge Clyde Drexler fan, right? Drexler finally got a ring with the Rockets back in '95. I wish Dame can, contribute to Miami. He deserves to go to some place like that. He gave Portland a chance to get their crap together. They didn't get their crap together. So that's not his fault. He was loyal to almost to a fault, kind of like somebody else we know. All right, moving along. Jack Thompson, shalom, everyone, and to the mighty Max. Thank you so much, Mr. Jack Thompson. I did try to see my Hotmail if you email me there. But, nonetheless, glad to have you, and we'll make the coffee or whatever the heck it's going to be in the future a thing. Unless I'm thinking of somebody else. I don't think it is. There's also Jack W., but that's right. You are the right one. All right. Corey Bibe. Hey, Max, do you think IOTA is the most underrated ISO? Yes. Absolutely. And it doesn't get enough talk because there's not a lot of things mentioned, right? Although Rich did do a recent video, and we got to watch about roughly 5 to 10 minutes on it, so I'm going to catch up on that. But yes, I think especially for the money, I remember when IOTA was a hell of a lot more expensive than it is now. I paid roughly 14 cents for it. Still glad I did that. You guys can get it around that particular price as we speak. All right. Just to give you guys a heads up, please smash that like. We're going to get into the coverage here in a bit. Obviously, you guys are having some fun. You're talking about Carolina, the deep dives. Oh, no, the hot dogs. I don't know about that. We don't want to bust it out. I have a picture somewhere of Mr. Mike Cornwell, wearing that shirt of that dude with the Coney Island. I am not kidding you. And apparently, he had a drunk friend, and he played a joke on his drunk friend. His drunk friend needed a shirt. So he's like, oh, yeah, no problem, my friend. I will come to the rescue for you. Here's a nice what? A white T-shirt with the Coney Island guy. You know what I'm talking about on the front. Now, I understand he came to the aid of his friend, but that guy, a shirt of that guy, unbelievable. You know what I mean? Yeah, I couldn't believe it was an actual thing. He has a shirt of that guy. Yeah, it's all over Twitter. X, whatever you want to call it. All right, Jack Thompson, I think XDC is at least half of the world. That's a good point. All right, not the fat juice or fact juice. I don't know. It's opinions. Maybe it's a typo. All right, so let's see here. What else we got up in here? Chris DeMaio, first time here. Welcome. And well, thank you. Yeah, let's give Chris DeMaio that warm CTN welcome. Maybe a different welcome in the future. It might be a different platform. You never know. I'm just going to state that, but nonetheless, we're going to give you that warm welcome. All right, Henry Brown, thank you. Jack Thompson just ordered Samsung Galaxy. Okay, that's conversation you guys have. So also welcome back Bitcoin BMW, and we'll be welcoming people all night long. So we're going to welcome also Frankie Ortiz. Welcome back. Crypto Smith. Apologize. Always great to connect with you, Max, and CTN family. CTM. Yes, Crypto Talk Max family. That's not a typo. That's correct right there. I'm still here getting ready to get the channel back to normal. Nice. Thank you very much. No, that's not a typo. No, that's correct. All right, River. I'm in my shop, and that's away from the house. More of a man cave than anything. All right. You guys listen from the garage. That's cool stuff. Simon Greco is in the house. Thank you for being here, Simon. And we'll welcome also April Cornwell. She says, hey. All right. So what we're going to do is use that as a bookmark because we got to get into some stuff. Please smash that like. Maybe we could tick up into the 30s. Obviously, about half the attendance compared to yesterday or more, and that's okay. Things like this happen. So let's jump into what we have tonight, and we're going to start things off with that Jasmy coverage, and then later on we're going to get into some of the community stuff that you guys had yesterday, today, and so on. So it's going to be a little bit of a Jasmy / community driven news updates, if you will. And if you want to be a CTN sideline reporter, or as Crypto Smith would say, CTM, I know it's a joke, Anyway, you can follow us at DPG Maximus. Follow me right there. The other guy will give you a big fat nothing burger. I don't know if he'll even check out what you have. I'm just saying. But anyway, let's get into what we have. And here it is. And it's basically this. So, like I pointed out earlier, all right, just in case you just tuned in, I want to share this first. This is part 2 of Giga School concept, and it's important because you want to know something. Now we're going to tie in the whole thing of Sony big time, right? Not just talk about it and so on. So again, you're always welcome to go back to that previous video to catch yourself up on it, and I would highly suggest that you do that. Let's jump back to what we have. So Sony, like it says, May 11, 2023, develops blockchain system for digital rights management. Now, you may be wondering about some of these things, right? Like, digital rights management. Well, I'm an A-Star guy, and I just tuned into your show. It's A-Star all the way. Boom. Pound my chest. Like Kong. I'm going to basically say it's A-Star all the way. And normally, I could understand where people are coming from with the whole A-Star claims, because consistently Sony has chosen A-Star for a few key things, right? But this time around, what about in regards to like education? So were you aware that there's 3 divisions of Sony Corporation? For one, the music industry. Yeah, no kidding. Sony Global Education. You know where we're going with this. And it says that basically speaking, there's also, of course, Sony Corporation. So those are the 3. They have revealed that they have developed a rights management system for digital content, which utilizes what? Blockchain tech. And of course, we cover blockchain, we cover DLT. What is this? So Sony last April applied for a patent, okay? And in regards to DRM is not necessarily like a brand new thing, but I'm going to get into some of the key things that you should pay attention to. So for one, digital rights management is a form of a copyright protection for what? Digital media. It goes on to mention basically that this aims to prevent illegal redistribution of digital media and restrict ways of copying purchased digital content. There's a few ways in which the traditional DRM, mainly regarding the complexity of copying and the lack of transparency is involved. Like there's issues with that, but due to each of individual recording with their own data themselves, they basically have this way of fixing all the problems or the criticisms, if you will, and they do that through blockchain. So is this really truly Sony blockchain? And if so, is this a connection with Jasmy, or is there a connection to A-Star? Again, guys, like I said, we're gonna get into all that. So what I want to show you here is this right here. I'm going to jump down to it, okay? And basically speaking, I like this part. Blockchain refers to a digital ledger, which is, the data is recorded chronologically, but not publicly. We understand the concepts of, the want and need for all this. But Sony is basing their new DRM system, if you weren't aware, on a blockchain-based system they previously produced all the way back in December of 2022. In a collaboration with who? IBM. Now, this part is definitely where I'm going to go with all this. Now, I want to state this. If you are thinking that, well, this is A-Star, the answer is no. A-Star is not, built on Hyperledger Fabric. IBM has that plug with Hyperledger. Jasmy uses Hyperledger, right? Casper, we just did a video earlier today, right? Hopefully you guys saw it. If you didn't, it's fine. But Casper is going to be doing some big things, especially when it comes to finance. By the way, Jasmy also entered into what? Finance democracy. So I pay attention to all these common, I hate to use this term, but denominators, if you will, because I think it's very unique how you have different blockchains with similar use cases, but they have this general consensus of using IBM related technology, but if anything, Hyperledger, right? We look at Casper with what they're doing in regards to, finance, right? It's absolutely going to be huge when it comes to Casper. And again, that video, I get complaints about my videos being too long. That one's only about 10 and a half minutes. I would highly encourage you to watch it because it gives you a broader idea of where this can go. And especially when it comes to Jasmy breaking into this new industry for them when it comes to finance democracy. We know where they stand out when it comes to data democracy. So they're killing it lately with some of the news, the expansions, all this stuff. But this topic of the day, this part 2 in regards to education, why should it matter to you? And if anything, do we have something solid in regards to Sony choosing Jasmy? I think we do. And let's, again, get more into this. So this system stored educational information, degrees, diplomas, tests, and more. Thanks to the technology of blockchain, it was possible to allow approved users to access and exchange these records by centralizing data from multiple educational institutions into one global ledger. Now, excuse me, been talking all day, and sometimes this is what happens. But I want to state this. When we did the whole Giga coverage, Giga concept for Japan, then towards the end, we gave you that outline of, for instance, does the U.S. have anything to do with this? Yes. We tied the whole thing with data free flow with trust. That was a big deal. You saw Kazamasu Sato referenced. We also showed you some, maybe not necessarily on that video, but other examples in regards to Sato and his patents, tying it all in. But if anything, Jasmy stands out when it comes to education in the metaverse, but on what platform, right? Well, not just the platform, but what specific thing in the metaverse? Education. So when I see things referenced here about the diplomas, the degrees, the tests, and so on, and I see all this talk about Sony, I got really interested in this, and I thought I would bring it to you guys. So this whole thing being possible to allow approved users to access and exchange these records by centralizing data from multiple educational institutions into an online global ledger. That's the bottom line. Which one will, be the chosen one for that is the thing. Now, I know some people, when I see the whole concept of centralizing data, they think, well, isn't Jasmy decentralizing that? You got to keep in mind, they still will get some of that from a centralized entity, and if anything, decentralize it through their own system, or in some cases, for instance, like a decentralized data marketplace, right? Even from an educational point of view. Sony's new blockchain-based DRM system builds upon this. According to the website, the system's purpose is to manage the copyright information of online works. Now, information, data, like who is the one, when you think about it, right, that is going to get the job done when it comes to personal data management? Yeah, I'm going to pick Jasmy on this one. So for one, IBM. Number two, Hyperledger. Now, when we compare some of this stuff, right, and I'll jump to this, nowhere do you have in regards to A-Star this being mentioned. So for number one, if we're going to do a comparison, and let me just double check my settings real quick. When it comes to A-Star, if you weren't aware of it, and I'm not knocking A-Star, I think it's solid. I wouldn't mind getting some tokens in regards to A-Star. I think it's a really good project. A-Star Network is multi-chain. They are also decentralized, and they also have an application layer, but it's a layer 0. It's done through Polkadot. Yes, A-Star also incorporates, an EVM through Ethereum, so there's that comparison. But A-Star does not use Hyperledger. All right, getting more into this, A-Star Network is divided into 2 layers. This is just some of my own notes if you're where I'm going with this. The first layer basically is called the base layer. The first layer of blockchain, of course, is used building on the substrate blockchain framework. The second layer is extended in the solution creating using the optimistic virtual machine OVM invented by the Plasma Group. So it's, again, totally different technologies and so on. If you're wondering about DRM, right, that's digital rights management. And basically the focus of that is to use technology to control access to copyrighted material. Now, in regards to this copyrighted material, when we talk about a blockchain that's going to need to definitely protect the rights of not just artists and so on, independent entities and so on, what about one that, again, is focused on just that data democracy, but that personalized data, right? The digital rights on that. So if it's literally called DRM, digital rights management, and you have Jasmy with personal data management, I mean, I could put the two and two together, right? Now, getting more into this outline of what we have, I want to share this with you. Sony's new blockchain-based DRM system builds, of course, on this. According to the website, the system's purpose is to manage the copyright information of online works. Here's the quote: with features for demonstrating the date, the time that electronic data was created, leveraging the properties of blockchains to record verifiable information in a difficult to falsify way, and identifying previously recorded works, allowing participants to share, verify when a piece of electronic data was created and by whom. Now, as we saw yesterday, I think we reported on this yesterday, you're talking about Jasmy's new blockchain. And one of the things that was also mentioned was some of the key two partners that they partnered up with for finance democracy, but it specifically mentioned some of that leveraging, right? So again, I'm trying to connect all this and have a broader sense of where this is going. I want to show you guys this as well. Basically says this system would be able to do this for a wide array of digital content such as music, films, VR content, ebooks. Now, I also understand that when it comes to Jasmy, the Internet of Things, and personal data management, it's not like a one-trick type pony thing, right? They have multiple layers of utility. In getting more into not just the whole focus of data management, you got to keep in mind Sony's adoption of blockchain, like it says, is not the first of its kind. I mean, obviously they do have the thing with A-Star, but again, what about personal data management? That is an A-Star. Earlier this year, the Ethereum Alliance Enterprise announced it was teaming up with, and again, I'm going to point this out all the time, Hyperledger. All right. So we showed you guys on yesterday's show the whole thing with quant interoperability, the Hyperledger update. But like it says, in order to promote the adoption of blockchain by business, we also know that those two key new partners for Jasmy is all focused on that promotion of adoption. Again, it's literally almost worded the same. Now, I think that's more than a coincidence, and I'm not saying this is speculative anymore. I'm gonna show you some key things why I feel as though it's not. But it says this encouraged media titan Forbes and mobile developer BlackBerry to use blockchain in their services. Their main goals, respectively, were to improve security and ease of sharing to their online platforms. Sony's development of a blockchain-based system signals another step in the path of the implementation of blockchain tech in our everyday lives. Yes, our everyday lives, also trying to get to the whole point of Society 5.0 and so on. Be it online transactions for forming copyrights, blockchain will add greater ease, security to what we do and produce online. Now, check this out. I'm going to jump over to what we have in regards to Sony. And I want to show you this right here. There it is. And basically speaking, I blew this up as much as I could. But this right here was a while back, but not to the point where it is a nothing burger, because it's definitely not. So this is the old press release, but check this out for yourself. Sony develops rights management system, of course, for digital content utilizing blockchain. What you also see here is it states ideal for what? Educational materials and other forms of digital content. Yes, you can see where I'm going with this, especially with that Giga School concept. Now, as I got more into this, all right, it mentions some key things here as well. But basically speaking, now we're talking about that management system, right? Especially when it comes to Jasmy. Well, look at what it mentions here. This management system for digital content that utilizes blockchain tech, this new system is based on Sony and Sony Global Education's previously developed system for authenticating, sharing, and rights management for educational data. Additionally, features functionality for processing rights-related information. So for one, we are tying in what we had with Giga School concept. We're also tying in what we shared previously in regards to what Kazumasa Sato referenced in regards to that interview that he had. But if anything, we can even include some of this other stuff that we're talking about in regards to like music, et cetera, et cetera. I don't need to read this part about what blockchains create. We understand that, right? But what I do want to point out is this right here. This basically is going to advance the tech for digital content creation. It's going to allow anyone to broadcast and share content, but the rights management of the content is still carried out conventionally by industry organizations or the creators themselves. I can't even pronounce that tonight. I've been talking too much. Necessitating, there we go. A more efficient way of managing and demonstrating ownership of copyright-related information for written works. Now, I also want to state this. I myself am personally invested into audio, right? The tokenization of independent artists and independent record labels and stuff like that, right? It's a good thing. But when it comes to the digital rights themselves and what Sony has going on, you better believe that they want to choose a specific blockchain standard when it comes to that personal data management, if you will. Again, for the people that are saying it's A-Star, you're not understanding the utility layer for A-Star compared to Jasmy, right? That's why we reference Hyperledger over and over and the whole IBM thing. How about this? This newly developed system is specialized for managing rights-related info of written works, with features of demonstrating the date and time that electronic data was created. Again, leveraging the properties. We mentioned this, right? Goes on to also mention, though, that in addition to the creation of electronic data, booting up the system will automatically verify the rights generation of a piece of written works, which was conventionally proven difficult. Furthermore, the system lends itself to the rights management of various types of digital content, including electronic textbooks and other educational content. Again, why did I point that out? Because on the previous deep dive for Giga School concept, all of this was referenced. But we now have, of course, music and films that we can add to this. Going to go further down. Like it says, Sony is contemplating possible uses in a wide range of fields. Sony Global Education is continuously carrying out technological development and prototyping towards the use of blockchain tech. Prototyping towards. What did we see when it comes to Sato and some of his recent patents and so on? Yes, you better believe in that interview it references, again, some of these key things in regards to education. So is that a nothing burger? I don't think so. When we get more into this, the use of blockchain tech in the educational field. This is a big deal to Sony, but if anything, it's a big deal to Kazumasa Sato. And last I checked, right, he was a former Sony executive. And he's continuously all the time working on new patents. And he was even specifically interviewed about the whole key thing in regards to education. So again, guys, is this a nothing burger? No way. I truly believe Sony is choosing Jasmy for its educational plug. Okay. The writing is literally on the wall. Hyperledger Fabric, some of the other things we mentioned, some of the other things we shared. Sorimitsu was a very, very big deal. Still is a very big deal. We talk about the whole quant connection. Again, Sorimitsu, former Sony executive, just like Sony, or just like Jasmy, but what they contribute also to Society 5.0, but also the whole thing with the quant plug with interoperability through what? What standard? We're always talking about standards. ISO TC 307. And again, what is that connected to? Who created that standard? Gilbert Verdian, 2015, the inception, and then it came to life in 2016. I'm not going to ever dismiss that. So this other content that was used in the field of education, Sony Global Education, basically speaking, is, and I have to go back and forth on this on left to right because I want nice and big for you guys to see it, is considering as possible commercialization as a service. So when we talk about Jasmy, we're always talking about, SaaS, right? Software as a service. What about commercializing some of this, all right? That's a big deal. Sony in itself is obviously a very big deal, and they have a specific area that has focus, right? Not just Sony Entertainment, but this is a whole branch, a whole wing of what they got going on, especially in Japan, literally called, and you saw it, Sony what? Global Education. That's a real thing. So my thing is this. They recognize already Jasmy, obviously, former Sony executives. You think they just all of a sudden just like, oh, I forgot these guys work for us. No, not at all. There is so many projects. I shouldn't say so many projects. So many of these guys who get together. And again, as promised, I am going to show you guys that club that Kunitake Ando is part of, where he gets with former Sony executives and they talk about their experiences. It's all in Japanese, but I want to get some real key ones in regards to, sorry, there's this guy revving up his engine outside. In regards to Soramitsu, and also, of course, with, these guys from Jasmy. Again, two different areas, but they both worked for Sony. All right. Before we kick it over to this next thing, I want to show you this. Sony Group is also considering innovative ways, and this is the key thing for you guys, innovative ways to make use of blockchain tech for information management and data distribution in a host of different fields. Think about this, guys. Who's being innovative as we speak? Who is ahead of schedule as we speak when it comes to these key concepts of the AI engine, Jasmy having his own blockchain, like I mentioned earlier, yesterday's show. Jasmy, in my opinion, I didn't think they're going to come up with that information until the end of the year. So in my opinion, we are ahead of schedule in that regards. But innovation, Sony Group, considering this, yeah, you better believe that they recognize Jasmy from top to bottom, because of, obviously the management and data distribution in a host of different fields, through the technological development and commercialization of what blockchains, including this new system. Sony will continue exploring the possibilities that blockchain tech holds for Sony Group, diverse and wide-ranging business domains. So at the end of the day, my thing is this. We showed you, again, the whole concept of Hyperledger Fabric and tying that all in and so on. And if anything, why would I do that? All right, that's the bottom line. So I know that seems like we're closing that right out on that, but this is from last February, and it's a little reiteration of what we just mentioned to a sense. But like it says here, and I'll blow someone up just a tad bit more before we jump into the next thing of what we have. The Sony digital rights management debacle, the litigation, the settlement, and some thoughts on the future of DRM, like I was talking about earlier. The key things to recognize from here is literally what Jasmy is all about: security, privacy, consumer protection, or, you as a person that just, for instance, freely throw away your data to centralized entities, right? I'm guilty of it too, right? Google, Amazon, so on. The key thing, though, is securitizing all that, privatizing all that. If anything, monetizing that, but giving you a choice to do so. Sony BMG compact discs outraged consumers back in the day, prompted less than 20 separate lawsuits. It says that, for instance, although there's a recent settlement that had begun, the process of addressing those issues, the debacle has been called to attention, both in the legal and practical risk of DRM software for content providers as well as consumers. Again, addressing, I guess you could say, the elephant in the room is in regards to protecting the copyrighted, the copyrights of music creators or artists and so on. Again, what will they be picking to protect that entity, that data, if you will? It goes on to mention some of this right here. Sony ran afoul of this framework in the past. The settlement and the future of DRM. Is it possible to design DRM that does not limit fair use? Is it possible to create security risks or invade music fans' privacy? Again, think about it. If we're talking about data democratization, and Sony is literally looking around and saying to themselves, all right, who is the one that has started in entering into Japan? Last I checked, Jasmy is the first, hence why they're called the Bitcoin of Japan. I know that doesn't make sense, guys. I'm so with you on that statement. But regulatory compliant with JVCEA from the beginning, when it was formerly called FSA, they have more than met the standard of standards, if you think about it. The plug with Genki Yoda, SBI Japan, BitPoint, all that. Great stuff. So my thing is this. They're well connected from top to bottom. Former, Sony executives, obviously working with other former Sony executives with Sorimitsu. Then you got this whole thing of where Sony's currently at, literally making it public, and I showed this to you guys tonight, making it public that they're looking into all these different blockchain solutions because basically speaking, they recognize this: security, privacy, and consumer protection. So who is the plug? Who is the connect? And if anything, in closing, who is going to be the one that is going to get it all done? You have to have something innovative. You have to have something that's going to scale. We know that Jasmy already scales, but now we're going to, from, not just where we were with centrality with 1000 TPS, but we're also going to another layer 2 solution with what we presented yesterday. Again, check it out. And on top of that, where we could possibly going to in the future in regards to Quant Network with interoperability, the Hyperledger update, and so on. That deal that they have, or that thing they got going on, for instance, tying in, Sorimitsu, I do truly believe that is such a big deal because, again, guys, like I mentioned, ISO TC307, the quant standard. I don't just do these videos for no reason. All right, so that's basically it. You can look more into this if you want. That was, again, from February 28th. But the point is education, right? Where does Jasmy stand in regards to education, the metaverse, and all that? And again, just real quick, yesterday's show, we pointed out that when it comes to the metaverse, because we knew that Jasmy at some point was going to enter the metaverse, it's not that Jasmy is trying to create their own metaverse. You got to understand they're partners that have, metaverse platforms. Jasmy's connection, or where Jasmy stands in regards to the metaverse, is definitely from the educational side. And like we also pointed out, when it comes to Giga School Concept, 2/3 of that budget, okay, when it comes to the educational side of things in Japan, 2/3 of the educational budget goes to laptops and PCs, okay? So if 2/3 of that budget goes to that, that's why Giga School Concept is a huge, like I said in the thumbnail, opportunity for Jasmy, because it simply is. The educational market is a big deal. Why would Sony get involved in something like this, right? Why would they make a whole division in regards to all this if it wasn't that big of a deal? Jasmy, in my opinion, is seizing the opportunity from beginning to end. I know some people don't see it that way. And, at the end of the day, it's not financial advice or anything like that. I just present what I see. I connect the dots for you guys and so on. But I am literally seeing the writing on the wall. I'm telling myself, this is a big deal, because when we talk about utility in motion, you are hitting so many different sectors. Earlier somebody was mentioning, ISO 222, IOTA, right? We know what IOTA is going to be massive in regards to, especially like data and so on. But at the same time, I'm recognizing Jasmy when it comes to the concepts of data, especially, data democratization. But I love the idea that they're like spreading their wings, if you will. they're not just in that one industry. Finance democracy is a big deal in itself. We talk about cross-border payments for Ripple's XRP, Stellar, and so on. Let's face it, when it comes to Jasmy, it doesn't sound so popular compared to like the these big ballers that are in the top 25 and so on. Stellar, especially XRP, was it ranked fourth, fifth consistently lately. Those are the ones that stand out. So they're hitting a lot of different utility layers. And when we look at the price, 0.003 some odd number, I'm literally saying to myself, my God, we had so much momentum at 0.008. We were literally going to get to the point where we're going to get to over a penny at some point. But the whole thing that happened with Binance Japan, Binance US, we lost that momentum. And of course, there's a lot of things that happen in regards to the bear market, so on and so forth. But again, understand this last thing. I keep saying this. XDC, I'm going to throw this out there real quick. XDC, since last year, right, was consistently building in a bear market, crypto winter and so on. And a lot of times there was not much being mentioned. Remember that time period that we went through with Jasmy, where it didn't seem like a lot was being mentioned? Like they would go obviously to like a blockchain conference and promote Jasmy. But they went to some key ones, right? IVS Crypto 2023, Diamond sponsored by Ripple. And again, I'll remind people, Jasmy and Ripple are not partners, but they are partnered with a key, partner, if you will, and that is the CARE project, right? Through healthcare and so on. So you got to keep in mind that all these things are significant. We're talking about, data in regards to not just, what you see reported here lately, but, we can even talk about medical data, but all these things are contributing to this big, giant goal of Society 5.0. That is the bottom line. And I'm just going to go ahead and state it, where people feel the same or not. And that is, I think, honestly, Jasmy is the chosen one for Sony, especially when it comes to education. Every single time I've gone back to this, again, guys, the writing is on the wall. I'll stop harping on it. Do more of your own research for yourself if you don't believe it. Yes, A-Star stands out for Sony as well, right? Don't get me wrong. Different utility layer. Totally different type of thing going on in regards to that. But education, that is worth a lot of money, and especially when it comes to Japan. All right. Going to kick it back into the comments. Let's see how we're doing in regards to the likes and all that. We are currently at 37 likes. And let's see what we have on the other screen real quick. All right. I think we're doing okay. All right. So getting back into the comments, we also have a few of you guys having conversation with each other. Thank you again, Simon Greco, for being here. Appreciate your support. Jack Thompson says, all right. I know I got to get the email action taken care of before weekend out. Oh, it's all right. No problem. I mean, at the end of the day, y'all got to do what you got to do. I didn't want to. My thing was, what if you sent me email and then like I didn't see it, because I didn't. There's some emails that's a really old. I've had that email address since like 1999 or something, or 2000 I think, actually, not 1999. And I just didn't want it to be a case of like, hey man, you sent me email and like you're like waiting to reply back. Anyway. All right, April Cornwell, LOL, show the pic. Oh geez. I don't have it handy on me, but I'm sure Mr. Mike Cornwell has it, your husband. He enjoys a good Coney Island for show. Oh geez. All right. That part. I'll show the one of Mike with the t-shirt, but as far as that segment, I don't know, man. All right. When Moon Max, you always ask me that, Ahmed. That's okay. How about this? I'll just say it. When Moon, late 2025. I'm gonna keep going with that. Late 2025, and if I take a real stab at it, utility run late 2025. Of course, you're going to see some things happen in 2024. There's money to be made, right? There's a little bit of money to be made in late 2023. There's a lot more to be made in 2024, but in my opinion, late 2025. I watched Lewis Jackson earlier, and I'm going to show you some key things in regards to XRP here in a bit. He had like a 17-minute premiere. It's pretty good stuff. I'll show you some key things from it. But in regards to the X platform, Elon Musk and all that, not Elon Musk, but anyway, my point is this whole talk of November of 2023, when it comes to, I guess you could say, like some people are saying, well, ISO 222, no, but some other things. How about Zach Rector? I don't know if you guys saw the clip. I think I retweeted it. He's talking about specifically, like Brad Garlinghouse and possible like Ripple settlement, full settlement by late September, saying that he's going to have a proper, celebration. I don't know, was it September 29th or something like that? So, is it a case of buy the rumor, sell the news? Well, a little bit, but what's really going to happen from there, So there's September 20th when it comes to Electronic Trades Documents Act, and I'm just going to go with it. I think we get a 3 for 3. That's a perfect example of buy the rumor, sell the news, if you will, because it's happened with XCC twice. So I'm going for 3 of 3 on that. And then I can't remember if it's September 19th or the 29th. It's supposed to be like possible like full victory day. I don't know. My thing is this, right? Last time around, I honestly thought that Ripple was going to go past $1. It didn't. It was close. We touched like 90 something, I think 91 cents or something like that. But what about a full, full settlement? That's different. I still believe more in utility and emotion compared to dates. That's just me. But we'll see what happens. And we'll share some of that stuff with you guys in a bit. All right. Henry Brown, Max has sent you another super chat asking for a mariachi, Max. Really? I didn't see that. Show the pic. Show the pic. Oh, God. All right. Maybe it's on crypto Twitter or X Twitter. All right. Hold on a second. You did send me another super chat? I don't remember seeing that, my friend. Where the heck was that? Oh, shoot. It's right there. Cam, we get a mariachi, Max. Oh, jeez. You guys want some crazy stuff tonight, huh? You want the yeah? Is that the mariachi you're looking for? Lionel Richie. All right. Show the pic. Jeez, it's like Larry back in the day, poking me. Like, do the Al Pacino, Max. Do it. Do it. Stop it. Yeah, you're gonna poke me like that, but that's okay. All right. Well, thank you, April Cornwell, and also Henry Brown for the super chat. Sorry about that. I just somehow missed that for some reason. All right, so let me click off of that for a second. I'll see what I could pull up on X. X gonna give it to you. Forget getting a Coney Island of your own. X gonna deliver it to you, right? All right, let's see what we got. I am not seeing any Coney Islands right now. I'm not seeing any of that stuff. All right, let me see. I will go to Mike Cornwell's Twitter and see if I can find it that way. I'm going to have to really dig deep on this one. I'm going to go through a lot of pictures. I can't believe I'm doing this. You guys in your DGen stuff. I don't know. I have to go through all this darn grocery list of everything. Hold on. Oh, I found it. Oh my God. Here it is. I found it. I think I even tagged XXI Gaming or something. Or no, he just laughed. Oh, I tagged him and I tagged Black Roo. Yeah. All right. That's good stuff. All right. Let's share this real quick. It's a real thing. Unbelievable. All right. So here is Mike Cornwell, aka Elon Musk. All right. Let's do a full screen on that one. Let's take off some of the banners. Because if anything, it just promotes Larry's Twitter, and who the hell wants to do that? All right. So there's that. All right. Yeah, there you go. Oh, the bottom part. Yeah, the moment you've been waiting for. See? Oh my God. Can you imagine that? He has a freaking shirt of this guy. A shirt of that guy. The Coney Island guy. Unbelievable. All right. You don't see the good thing the Coney Island's chopped off on that part. So I don't feel so bad about sharing this. But, I apparently, Mike Cornwell's down like James Brown out of town on Greyhound. I mean, there you go. So that's a continuation of all that. I guess I'll leave that up there for you guys for a bit. Unbelievable that we're sharing this right now. The Liechtenstein Exchange and Jasmy, Rice Crop Consortium in the house. What up to Magic Power? Thanks for being here. Crazy stuff, man. Unbelievable, right? Yeah, Mike Cornwell's a good guy. You got a good sense of humor, I'm not a prude. Some people I don't say some people. I remember like a year ago, I don't know if it was Jeff Pruden. Shout out to Jeff Pruden. He was like saying that I was basically whatchamacallit, kind of like a prude or something like that. I'm not a prude. It's just we had a policy, right? All right. So yeah, there's Mike Cornwell with the interesting shirt. It says that headshot squirting on it. Oh, jeez. So bad. So bad. All right. So yeah. There it is for you. This, I guess, $2 well spent. You bought Larry a chicken wing from Hooters with that $2 super chat. How much do wings really cost nowadays? You know what I mean? It's like, so I went to Rubio's yesterday, and basically speaking, I wanted to try out some carnitas with like some avocado, fresh avocado. I said, how much for just one taco? He's like, that one? I'm like, yeah, that one. He's like, that one's $5.25. I go, $5.25 for one street taco, basically, is what you're telling me. That's the size of it. He goes, yeah. I was like, well, you can keep it then. Anyway, unbelievable. So, all right, we're going to go further down into the comments, and then we're getting to the next part. We did welcome Magic Power, the Liechtenstein Exchange. You will own nothing, and you will be happy to work at the Wiener Schnitzel for all of your rest of your life. Yes, guten Tag. All right, let's read this from Jack Thompson. Anyone is $5 Jasmy by the end of 2026 Fantasyland? I don't think it's Fantasyland at all. I don't think it's Fantasyland. I think $1 is more than achievable. I think, if anything, by the end of 26, I think it's more than achievable. That's just how I personally believe, not financial advice. That doesn't mean that anybody just goes out there and buys a bunch of Jasmy. You're welcome to do so if you want. But yeah, that's the way I look at it. All right. Let's see here. Jack Thompson, thanks for the reply. You're very welcome. Magic Power says, Jack, if Jasmy continues to do good job, and there is really a strong lockup of the coins in quarter 4 2023, then $5 for the 2025 bull run is possible. Interesting. You're talking my kind of reality. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. We got Bernie Sutton. I'll be darned, man. My dad's friend. Bernie's here. Well, hello, Bernie. You probably wonder what the heck is this Coney Island talk all about? It's a little joke, inside joke that we have. Shout out to my dad's friend, Mr. Bernie Sutton. Thank you for being here, Bernie. All right. And let's see here. Jack Thompson. Mine is Milady's. Come on, Milady's. I never got into that. So anyway, let's welcome also Blackwood is in the house. Boomer F. Sooner says, I would really like to know just how much Jasmy will be locked up and how long it will take. If it's the 70% you heard about, $5 is very possible for 2024. I have not heard about 70%. I've heard rumors about 70%. I heard people in comments talk about 70%. I haven't seen anything from the actual Jasmy team, Hara, or any of those guys in regards to 70%. So if you have information about that, by all means, share it. As you know, you can tag me right up here at DPG Maximus. One of these days, I got to get the X one, but it's no big deal. All right, let's see here. Going further down, a few more comments, and then we'll get back into some of our coverage. Magic Power says the lockup will be starting process in quarter 4, if at all. Yeah. How strong will it be and how long will it last is unknown. In any case, Jasmy has to deliver. Well, we'll see what happens with that. All right, excuse me. I'll read this. You got good comments, Magic Power. I'll read this as well. We also need far, far more than 50,000 holders. It has to be millions. True. Very true. If anything, on crypto Twitter, sorry, over this way, so many of us retweet and stuff like that or repost. I know I got to get with the lingo because it's not retweet anymore. It's repost. So repost, share some of the key things, if there's, and let's be honest, right? Shout out, I guess you could say shout out to Volt. I mean, I'm not part of Volt anymore, but I'll give credit where credit's due. They did a really good job of trending. They consistently share a lot of stuff. And with Jasmy, it kind of has that meme-esque feel to it, right? But we have utility, real, true, multiple layers of utility. It would be nice if everybody got on board and really try to pound it home. But at the end of the day, want to know something? I believe that, this is going to be worth a heck of a lot more, no offense, than Volt, because my thing is this, right? This is not just one layer of utility, but lots of layers of utility. And again, that's not disrespect. That's just what I personally feel about it and so on. Personal data lockers and everything that we covered for many, many months now, especially this whole new thing of, from the educational side. I mean, come on. The Giga School concept, 2/3 of the educational board devoting that budget to PCs and laptops all across Japan. You don't think that's a huge opportunity for Jasmy and Avita, right? With Sony blockchain, Jasmy personal secure blockchain PCs and laptops and so on. That's an absolutely huge big deal. And that's just not for instance only for Japan. They could apply that model to other areas of the world and so on. So yes, we do need more than 50K holders. We'll obviously get more of that mass adoption and so on. But can you imagine, even if we spoke right now that we had, instead of just 50,000 holders, you have a case of going from 20,000 blockchain PCs, secure blockchain PCs and so on, and then you have 50,000, and then that right there, like all 50,000 people actually using a personal data locker. Some people say, well, I don't understand that. How's that going to be? You got to keep in mind when it comes to these laptops and so on, they're all plug and play. So there's no you got to sign up for a personal data locker, or you have to put in your email address and all this stuff and create an account and all that. No, it's all plug and play. Cool. I like that. I like the idea of utility in motion. And, that's what it's all about. So, yes, I think here in the near future, especially with, the United States and so on, with what they got going on, yes, we obviously need more than 50,000 people, but we're going to get to where we need to be. We have more than enough time to do it. And I still think that this accumulation phase, if you haven't hit your goals, you might want to look into some of the recent prices and so on. Not financial advice. That's what I'm doing though. 0.0033 or wherever it is. At the end of the day, I mean, that's simple math. 0.0038, I think it was last I checked. Maybe it hovered. So if somebody wants to buy 100,000 Jasmy, that's $380. I understand if $380 is nothing to, dismiss, right? That's a chunk of change and so on. But you want to know something? Remember when Jasmy was, before Binance US, 0.008? So 100,000 Jasmy at that time was over $800. So that's a significant discount where we're at right now. All right. Crypto winners in the house. Badir. Yo. What's happening, everyone? What's happening with Mr. Badir? All right. Welcome. Glad to have you. Jack Thompson, this is a matter of national pride for them involved in big corporate government Japanese intel service. That's a good point. The honor system. Maybe here in the United States, we don't really take it too serious. Guys walking down the street with their butt hanging out. I don't need to see your underwear, but you're going to focus it on me anyway. That's not too honorable. But, at the end of the day, my key thing is the culture and leaving a legacy, and these former executives of Sony, their stamp in the world of innovation. They're all about innovation. They're always excited to share that. And again, once I get something more solid in regards to these interviews, they're all in Japanese. I will give you guys some of those subtitles. I'm just hoping I find an interview of Kunitake Ando and some of these guys that were obviously also part of Sony, but they're part of Sorimitsu. Because again, that right there could be, all the proof that we need, right? Some people say, some of the stuff is still speculative. That's all the proof we need to simply see those guys simply in that clubhouse. And again, I'm subscribed to the channel, but again, I've reviewed some of it, and I've watched probably like a couple hours, and it gets pretty dry at some point because you don't, for me, it's like I don't know Japanese. But yeah, if I could just see one thing in the description where it says Kunitake Ando and one of these other guys from the other project who's also former Sony executive, that'd be massive. That'd be bigger than any video I ever did for the Jasmy thing or Quant on its own or any of that stuff, because it would confirm some things. And the bottom line is Society 5.0, the common goal of the fourth industrial revolution. All right, Magic Power says we are all at the very beginning, invested very early with the use case and area of application that Jasmy covers. Millions of holders will be possible very soon. Such investments create millionaires. Tommy Mottola, Mariah Carey's ex-husband, was a Sony executive. Yes. I'm glad you kept up with that. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. You remember when Derek Jeter used to go out with Mariah Carey? I don't know, everybody throws that up. I remember when I was a teenager, and my friends would always mention that. Oh, Derek Jeter's so lucky, Mariah Carey. Well, Mariah Carey back in the day, not too shabby. All right. Jack Thompson, how's their Jasmy exposure to India, Middle East, smart cities, Dubai, etc.? I don't know. And that's something that needs to maybe be looked into a little bit more. I'm not going to BS you on that. All right, let's see here. I think I'll just read maybe a couple more comments. I'll read from Jack. My thoughts after worldwide regulations clarity, won't prices stabilize to the higher side? We won't see cheap utility prices. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, the crypto accumulation phase will not last forever. Just to give you an idea, if you're brand new, not you, but I'll show you guys what I'm talking about real quick. Now, I'll give you this little description. So, accumulation phase, right? It occurs when prices are relatively low and smart investors start accumulating cryptocurrencies. During this phase, prices may remain stagnant or experience minor fluctuations. Investor behavior is characterized by patience and strategic accumulation. To give you an idea of what this looks like on a graph, right? I'm going to show you guys this. Hold on a second. This is from crypto.com University. Oh, no, it's not. This is a different one. I forgot the university page is too small of an image. That doesn't even look clear either. What the heck? All right, hold on a second. Let's pull up a different one. Here we go. It's a little blurry, but I'll show you guys this real quick. So there's this right here. And basically speaking, I'll come out of the frame. And it's the accumulation phase. That accumulation phase doesn't last forever. That markup phase is where it's at. Now, the beginning of the markup phase, don't get me wrong, some people are still going to accumulate. But watch out to where, the peak of that. That peak of it last time around was basically BTC and, at 69K. Or Ethereum at like, was it 4,500? Something like that. 4,500. So not too bad. All right, Cash Cats, welcome. We'll welcome one more guy. Let's also welcome Crypto Oracle. So thank you, Cash and Crypto Oracle. Let's get back to what we have in regards to some of the coverage. And we're going to get into some of that community-driven news that you guys have. So I want to get into it. And this one will first be Mr. Le Grand Commission. Oui, merci beaucoup. All right. So I want to share this first one with you guys, and it's regards to Mr. Elon Musk. And the cool thing is, when we get into this brief outline, I'm going to show you guys what's important from the article, but I'm also going to show you some visualization from Louis Jackson. Now, he had a 17-minute video earlier. I'm going to fast forward it to some key areas, but it's some pretty good stuff that you might not have been aware of in regards to, Twitter transforming into X and why that was a big deal and so on. Anything in regards to Elon Musk is always a big deal. So let's go ahead and share this. Pull this up. And again, thank you to CTN sideline reporter, Mr. LeGrand Commission. And as you can see right here, here is the article. Comes straight from Cointelegraph. Elon Musk X moves closer to crypto payments with new state license. Now, before I get more into this, what I want to share with you is Louis Jackson, when we get to that particular segment, he goes into the detail about it. It's in regards to Rhode Island. Now, I do see that even on this screen it shows this, but he gets really into it like nobody's business. I mean, I don't know. In my opinion, he's like the goat of research when it comes to XRP specifically. Another guy that's up there is obviously Zach Rector, but Crypto Hulk's up there too. But look what it says. Regulators from Rhode Island have approved X's application for currency transmitter license. Rhode Island's regulators have granted X's Twitter a currency transmitter license, marking a step forward for the company's foray into the financial services sector. And it doesn't just end there. Have you guys saw the recent thing? As we know, a while back, right? Tucker Carlson was fired from Fox News, right? But if anything, he is now on the X platform, and he's a hired, he's doing like he's an anchor, if you will, and doing a lot of journalism on the X platform. I don't know how much they're paying him, but I mean, wow. Okay. So X in itself is expanding so much more than, in my opinion, just the classic Twitter that we were accustomed to in the past. I think X is obviously going to be more of a massive platform than it was with Twitter. I think Elon Musk is going to take this whole thing of X to a whole new level. I obviously think that there's more than meets the eye when it comes to the concept of X. And this is where some people feel very bullish. The X coins, your XRPs, your XLMs, your XDCs, right? Stellar, Ripple, Zenfin, right? Cross-border payments. So look at this. The license is legally required for companies conducting financial activities on behalf of users related to sending and receiving money. A definition that includes both fiat and crypto assets. The approval will allow for X to custody, transfer, and exchange digital currencies. This is where a lot of people feel as though that some of these conspiracies of the past, it's like, nah, this is by design. Think about some of these cryptocurrencies. Obviously, Ripple's XRP. The X is what? Like cross-border payments. If you think about like a railroad, in itself, right? Think about it. The crossroads, cross borders. So X's Rhode Island currency transmitter license approved 2 days ago on the 28th, according to the nationwide multi-state licensing system. They have a reference here. You guys can kind of see that. Wow, they even applied to Arizona. Interesting. I'm in Arizona, as you guys know. I'm originally from Portland, Oregon. All right, X has a total of 7 money and currency transmitter licenses. The move marks an important step forward for Elon Musk's push for X to become an everything app. That is such a big thing. It literally is becoming an everything app. I mean, and if you looked at the old interview of Elon Musk, what was it, late 90s, early 2000s? I think it was basically early 2000s. But he had this plan many years ago. I will mention Jasmy again. These guys, former Sony executives, it's these itches that they had that need to be scratched, unfulfilled. I should say a prophecy, but to a sense, like it's all about their legacy. They don't like the idea that they work on something and it becomes like unfulfilled. These guys, say what you want, they all have one thing in common. They're either current CEOs or former CEOs. But whatever they worked on in the past, just something about like that bugs them. They want to make something of that. You literally see that happening with Elon Musk. So the Everything app, which would include what crypto and fiat payments. I want to state this, right? I still have a lot of Doge. But I have to be a realist. I don't really necessarily, and I hope I'm wrong about this, I don't see Doge being the premier cross-border payment solution for the X platform. Now, could they still incorporate it in a different way? You better believe it, because the ties obviously to Elon Musk, and Elon Musk is obviously, even at one point before Twitter went to X, he had a picture of literally the Doge as the logo. So I mean, I'm not going to dismiss it, but if I had to pick one or the other, obviously I'm going to go with some of the X's, right? Ripples, XRP, Stellar, XDC, all that stuff. Sources have suggested that X's upcoming payments feature will initially only offer support for fiat. Musk has reportedly instructed developers at X to build the platform's payment system in such a way that crypto functionality can be added in the future. Oh my God, right? He reportedly instructed developers. Wow. And if anything, behind closed doors, I know this seems like, again, some of that speculative stuff, but I mean, am I going to be naive to it? I believe full-heartedly that some of the closed door conversations, why wouldn't he invite somebody from like Ripple or Stellar or some of these other ones, right? To basically educate. Let's just use Ripple, for instance. Hey, there's this dev from, and he comes from the XRPL, right? Why would Musk do that? To educate one of his own devs and so on. Why would he do that? Well, we did see verification, I think about a week or two ago. We showed on a live show that Elon Musk is definitely personally invested into Ripple's XRP. He did $200 some odd thousand investment many years ago, and that's now worth over $10 million. Okay, that's chump change to Elon Musk, right? Who wouldn't have liked to have been able to do something like that? But again, he's been doing it all day, every day. Many years ago, obviously, he hopped on the gravy train with BTC. But the point is, Elon Musk always will recognize innovation. So if he recognizes innovation, then you got to go with the ones who are the innovators. BTC, as in Bitcoin, doesn't have, that it's just not going to get the job done for cross-border payments for speed and efficiency. It's dinosaur technology when it comes to comparing it to, like Ripple's XRP and some of these other ones. All right, how about this approval? This comes nearly 2 months after X secured money transmitter licenses in Michigan, Missouri, New Hampshire. They were all approved on July 5th, day after Independence Day. X's latest license marks a total of 7 American states secured transmitter licenses are basically in. It remains unclear exactly what financial offerings will be made available if and when X rolls out payment features. But when they do, here's your takeaway. When they do, which ones do you hold when that rollout happens? We talk about price shock. We've seen price shock with Doge. I saw it firsthand myself. If it wasn't for Doge, I wouldn't even be here with you guys. I've always stated that. Got into Doge January 2021. Got it for a penny. A friend of mine told me tomorrow it will literally go up, guaranteed. I'm like, all right, I will. Only got $300 of it, but by yours, I went with my gut. And if anything, I was glad that I did, because when it was going crazy and some people were giving, I hate to say it, influencers, content creators giving bad information, saying, no, keep holding on to it. It's going to go over to $1. I said, I don't know. I don't know about that. It seems like it's really doing well. I only put 300 into it. I'm going to cash out on this. I'm glad I did. 22K. Got bit by the crypto bug. And my gateway to other different cryptocurrencies was, all right, I was able to buy 30,000 of these things for $300. Is there anything else out there I could buy a crap load of and then watch that go to the moon as well for maybe a penny or under? And that's obviously how I found out about Shiba Inu. And obviously, as you guys know, the rest is history. And I'm glad I researched other things and then just settle for meme tokens. I'm, of course, guilty of, just like anybody else, chasing meme coins down. And you know what? My Robo Inu, I reached out to a lady. I'm not going to mention her name right now. She is, kind of connected to us to a sense. Nothing against her. I was like, you've done a video on Robo Inu. It's your most popular video. I don't have any information whatsoever about a V2. I looked all over the internet about the V2. Nothing about it. All right. On my portfolio, it says my $100 investment, and I know that's not much, into Robo Inu is only worth 30. But when I go to my Bitmart wallet, it says worth 13 cents. What the hell happened? And Bitmart, as you guys know, is supposed to be, I'm not the biggest fan of Bitmart, but I do like the idea that they have automatic V2 token integration or migration, right? But it says worth 13 cents on the Bitmart platform. So she basically said, just referred me to the Telegram. I'm thinking to myself, like, I know that, she has some information. So anyway, I'm just thinking to myself, like, this is probably going to be a big loss. I went all over the place looking for any information about nothing at all. And I'm saying to myself, why would I or anybody else want to continue to mess with this crap? You know what basically is? You still got that taste of 2021 in your mouth. And that is, oh man, I remember when I was able to close my eyes and just throw a dart at the dartboard and all this stuff went to the moon. Right. But we're in a different situation here. And for me personally, I rather take my time, research what it needs to be researched, and stack on these utility-based cryptocurrency projects that just have that, not just one layer of utility, multiple layers of utility. Now I'm going on a tangent. I understand. Let's get back to this. But my key takeaway for you guys should be, are we really complaining about some of these prices on the short term? Or do we still stand by the research? And that is, in the future, especially when Musk announces, when X rolls out payment features, which ones are a part of those features? Is it literally going to be the 3 X's that we always talk about? The Ripple XRP, Stellar XLM, and Zenfin's XTC? Could very well be. Could very well be. People familiar with the company's plans have indicated X will initially offer fiat currency transaction services similar to PayPal, which, of course, let's reference it. Elon Musk co-founded with room for future crypto integration. So there is that. Now, let's get into the next part of what we have in regards to Lewis Jackson and the whole concept of the deep dive. And he does it so well, in my opinion, in regards to what recently happened with this application for Rhode Island and so on. So I have it on my history. I'm going to pull it up, and I'm just going to fast forward to obviously some of the key spots. Just going to pull this up in the history part. I did plan to have this all beautifully boom, 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 ready to go for you guys. But again, I was on a late call from, work-related stuff. But I did find it right here. And basically the title, and I know I'm not sharing this yet, but I'm going to tell you what the title of it is. So he had a premiere. It was only about 16 and a half minutes. Again, we'll fast forward the key stuff. Lewis Jackson, a.k.a. Crypto Lulu, it says, did I discover how X.com will use what? XRP. So we're going to share this with you. I'm just going to go ahead and obviously wait for this commercial to get done playing. I'm going to skip it. And I'm going to get into this right now. So let me see here. Yeah, we're going to get into, I think it's like a 3-minute mark. Hold on a second. Oh, I got it. We're at the 3-minute. So here we go. Let's go ahead and share this. Please give Lewis Jackson a follow. He doesn't even go by Crypto Lulu anymore. It's just Lewis Space Jackson, 71,000 followers. I told him that we share his stuff and so on. He even thanked us and so on. That was kind of cool. But nonetheless, give him a follow. You can also follow him on, obviously, crypto, Twitter, X platform. We'll play, I don't know, maybe 6-7 minutes of this, maybe possibly more. This is some really good stuff. He got into the deep dive, nitty gritty about how he found out that X.com will use XRP. So again, what I was showing you earlier, where Elon Musk was talking about that rollout for the payments and announcing that, you don't think there's going to be price shock? There's so many big things coming up, you guys. I mean, I know Mike Cornwell can taste it. I am going to give a shout out to Squidward, even, Edward Vincent, and a lot of you other guys, Brian Dowie, because I know Brian, you're like I don't mean there's any disrespect, right? But you're kind of like a XRP XLM maxi, right? This is our segment for tonight when it comes to Ripple's XRP. And my thing is, again, guys, that price shock. Elon Musk is literally still, whether you're on board for it or not, this guy can mention one key thing like XRP. He can literally just say XRP has been chosen by Twitter. And you don't think that would send XRP to like prices that you've never seen before? The guy still has a lot of clout. He still has a lot of power. And the market will literally is proven itself multiple years. But when he sends out a tweet or a repost in modern times, whatever you want to call it, that literally the market could move just based off of one thing he says. And I know it sounds nuts because we're talking about utility-based projects here, but that's a fact. And it's been proven multiple times. So did Lewis Jackson find out that the X.com will use XRP? Well, make your own decision here. Smash that like. Here we go. Ripple's XRP.
States and the rest of the world that there is precedent for approving X.com as a payment provider. So why would you need this license in the first place? Well, it relates to digital currencies and the transfer of digital money. You have to have this license as a business in order to transfer currency. Now, it doesn't specifically mean it has to be cryptocurrency. It could be any kind of virtual currency. But the reason why people are getting so excited is because, in fact, blockchain and crypto-based payments do fall under the umbrella of this law, essentially meaning that X.com has set the precedent in Rhode Island for the rest of the world to say that it can process cryptocurrency-based or blockchain-based payments. That is massive. That is literally the first step in taking X.com to be the everything app. What's interesting is that X.com will not be a bank. And here's why. Because if X.com were a bank, they wouldn't need this license. In fact, federal or state chartered banks don't need this license. But being an agent with the bank or being a bank's customer doesn't exempt you from needing the license. So basically, if you're a bank, you don't need the license, but if you're not a bank, you do. So what type of businesses do need a license? And let's see how this can reveal what X's intentions are. If you're sending money to customers, that could be wire transfers or electronic transfers, you need a license. Essentially, this license allows people from person to person to send money on X.com. So that could be a crypto or it could be just a digital version of money. But what's really interesting is that this all happens now when XRP is deemed not a security. Why is that interesting? Well, you are only allowed to transmit currency under this law, meaning that Rhode Island, at the very least, are viewing crypto or blockchain-based payments as currency, not as securities. But then you've got the question, this is actually leading me down a massive thought process here. How can Rhode Island say definitively that blockchain-based payments are okay if it's a currency when there's only really one asset with clarity that it's not a security? Every other crypto asset is not a currency definitively, especially when you talk from the SEC's perspective. There's only one asset that is in the clear as definitely not a security. That's XRP. So if I deduce and draw these connections and connect these dots, does that mean X.com uses XRP as the only digital asset with clarity? In other words, a currency? I don't know, maybe I'm stretching a little bit there, but this is like fascinating to dig under the pages, and have a look to see what's really going on here. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. So with that in mind, how do Rhode Island actually define virtual currency? Like, what's their actual definition for that? Can that give us extra clues about this XRP thing? So I'm going to read it here. Rhode Island law defines virtual currency as a digital representation of value that can be digitally traded and functions as a medium of exchange, a unit of account, or a store of value. However, it doesn't have legal tender status. Interesting. So of course, we're not only talking about cryptocurrency or blockchain here. It could be any virtual currency. But specifically, when we talk about cryptocurrency, there's really only one crypto asset that can be 100% confidently put out as not a security and therefore as a currency. That is XRP. So there's lots of ifs layered on top here. But if X.com wanted to use cryptocurrency, then they would have to use XRP, just based on the terminology of this Rhode Island law. But if X.com didn't use blockchain technology, they could use any other virtual currency that isn't legal tender. So from the cryptocurrency standpoint, we've really only got XRP that has that full regulatory clarity. I would anticipate that because of the time in the game, that Bitcoin and Ethereum would also get a slice of this pie, just blindly, without actually having that clarity of legality. I'm just finding like time in the game that Bitcoin has had, time in the game that Ethereum has had, has almost like, well, Ethereum's a special case. I'm not even going to say that. But Bitcoin has already got this kind of trust, even though there's no legal clarity on Bitcoin. It's kind of this weird situation. So let's say on the cryptocurrency standpoint, you've got Bitcoin and XRP. We all know the best choice for user experience anyway. But then you've also got that fall under the virtual currencies category. You've also got tokens. And these could be utility tokens. And this would be to access kind of specific applications or services within a blockchain ecosystem. You've also got security assets, and these can actually represent assets like shares in the company. So this is fascinating as well. X.com, you could potentially trade your stocks, or really these tokens that represent securities. Then you've also got NFTs that fall under this token category, where you could trade your NFTs. So let's think of more than just monkeys here, right? Let's say we've got an NFT contract. It's a smart contract essentially held within an NFT. Let's even say it's a mortgage. We've got this mortgage held in an NFT and somebody wants to buy it off me on X.com. I can literally send it to them using X.com, send ownership of my house on X.com. But then what you also have is this whole other category of token called stable coins. We all know this one. So that's USDT, USDC, Binance USD. These would all fall under the virtual currencies law. And interestingly enough, you would also have these like social media issued tokens like Libra from Facebook, or even, listen to this one, points on Reddit. So you know on Reddit where you contribute to a community, you get points. You could even transfer the points on X.com as virtual currencies. Then you've also got all of like the in-gaming tokens like V-Bucks in Fortnite. You could transfer World of Warcraft gold. Or even if any of you have played Clash of Clans, you could send your gems on X.com. It doesn't just stop there. It's like airline miles you could send. You could send credit card reward points or retail loyalty points. And here's where it gets particularly crazy, right? Because if we're talking about virtual currencies, you could also potentially use DeFi-related tokens like Compound or Aave, or even Yearn Finance, for example, in order to do activities on DeFi like lending and borrowing. Digital assets with legal clarity outside of the DeFi system, so therefore more liable to be on the institutional side, which is XRP. All the angles point towards XRP. And that's even with all of those assumptions that X.com would use XLM just because of Elon's kind of affiliation with Stellar in the background. Only XRP has that clarity. So I don't understand how you could navigate any other way when you're dealing with payments using digital assets. Obviously, payment is a broad spectrum. Like you could be paid in V-Bucks on Fortnite. That is a form of currency. So we're just going to have to see how this is all going to play out. But certainly the market that XRP would be taking here in the payment sphere versus, for example, Fortnite V-Bucks payments, it's a different ballgame. So I'm not worried about Fortnite taking over XRP. I'm just saying there's levels to this. In addition to all of that, in 2017, India really started taking a stance on Ripple. They partnered with RippleNet, or it was called something else, I can't remember. But you had Axis Bank, you had Standard Chartered, you had another bank as well in India getting ready in 2017 with their partnerships with Ripple. Now, as it's gone on, time has gone on, 2017 to now, 6 years have gone by, and Axis Bank have just announced that they're empowering users with UPI integration in their digital rupee app. So essentially, the CBDC of India is running on a system with banks that are affiliated with XRP, actually partners, public partners of Ripple. Now, all of these partners of Ripple at any moment can say, we want to use XRP. And so this update to the app, this UPI, this digital rupee app, the update that occurred basically added interoperability. It's a word we talk about all the time, of course, but it's so, so important. So a UPI is a unified payments interface, and it utilizes this technology that we thought was way gone, and then COVID happened, and then it came way back. QR codes. So essentially you can use QR codes on their app to send digital rupees. And it's made the payments process all across India just super simple. And this hits a whole kind of basket of different types of payments. I'm going to read them off here. You've got peer-to-peer collections and payments. That's when you send or receive money from family or friends. You've got bill payments like your utility bills, your internet bills. You can pay all of these on this app using a QR code. When you go into a physical store or you buy something from an online store, that can use a QR code to process the payment. You can also use these QR codes to see your current balances. You can set reminders for payments that you have to make. Essentially, QR codes linked with the Indian CBDC, which is supported and partnered by Axis Bank and a range of other banks in India that are all using Ripple technology to do so. India's like not secretly or silently, but I feel like they're coming out of nowhere and just like, here it is, real use of a retail CBDC. The great thing is it's so easy to trace back the Ripple connection to India. And this brings a bigger conversation. How much say does India have in the whole BRICS expansion? It seems like over the last 6 years, they've been working with Ripple. You would imagine there's a level of trust there and experience that India have with Ripple, that at least has to be a conversation from India, taking it to the rest of BRICS. We're using this system. It's been flawless for the last 6 years. We're pushing it out even further because of our level of trust. Maybe you should, as a group, the BRICS nations, have a talk with Ripple. And I say all of that like they haven't already met.
Okay. Let me pause that for a second. Excuse me. So I played about, obviously, 10 minutes. I said I'd play about 7 or 8, a little bit over. Great information in regards to the X platform and the possibility of payments, XRP, all that, right? I thought you did a really excellent job in regards to that deep dive. And that's why we do share Louis Jackson on the show. We have for over a year now. Lately, we haven't shared as much, but when I did tune into the actual premiere earlier today, I thought, you know what? Let's chop that up a little bit, share it on our live show. Told him I was going to do so. He appreciated it and so on. Yeah, Louis Jackson, give him a follow. Obviously, he has a huge following. All right, we're going to get back into the comments. We do have some more coverage for you tonight. Shout out to Legrand Commission, who started off the outline for us and then, gave you some of that info from Louis Jackson. Get more into the comments. Yeah, Crypto Oracle, we said hello to you earlier. I think I forgot to bookmark my spot, but that's all right. So let's see here. Corey Bive, Stellar's Meridian is coming up in less than a month. That is true. Very, very true. You have Idris Elba, who's going to be a keynote speaker / celebrity there and so on. Brian Dowie, Max at the party in Vegas, BG. Brad Garley House, right, said they will have a real party after the lawsuit, September 29th, NYC. Yeah, we'll share you guys, share some of that with you guys. We have a little bit more, obviously, XRP for you. I want to get to a part about what Zach Rector was talking about in the 1 to 2 minute clip that he shared on Crypto Twitter. Do I need an agent? Yeah, probably. All right. I'm not gonna get into that though. All right, let's see here. Yeah, you like that? You talk about that shirt, huh? Yeah, I guess everybody saw that at some point. Yeah, muffed down with the. Oh, geez, that's some funny stuff. All right, Elon Musk. I got that shirt as a joke for someone, but I put you should share the picture of the guy who's basically drunk, and then you're like, oh hey, no problem. Do you need a shirt? I'll be more than glad to clothe you, my fellow brother. I'll put a shirt on. I didn't put on anything. And poor guy has that shirt on. Wow. So moral of the story, do not get drunk over at Crypto Mike's house, right? Yeah. All right, let's see here. We got, that's a good question. All right. April Coral. Thanks, Max. That's a funny pick. Yeah, no problem, April. No problem. 15 cents for a rib. Yeah. All right, let's see here. Let's go further down. All right, let's see here. Boomer F and Sooner says, well, 50,000 holders average 1 million tokens each. Jasmy would be all bought up. All right. Let me see here. Crypto Winner. There is 35 billion Jasmy tokens. I like how you call it. Yeah, what is this? Jasmy is all of a sudden like owned by, Tony Yayo or something, or Al Pacino is Scarface. Like, there's 35 billion Jasmy tokens locked away, man. You got to have as much Jasmy as the next guy. Jasmy. Jasmy. That's funny. Anyway, always glad to have you here, Badir. Always good seeing you, man. All right, Magic Power. We now have the ambassadors who should put the pressure on and find out exactly how Jasmy envisions the lockup and the 200,000 blockchain PCs that they want to sell in Asia by the end of 2024. Here's something I want to state, okay? I understand the pressure. I also understand from the perspective of a content creator and so on. I do know this much, and this is not me getting insider information. To me, this is just like right on the surface, basically. So I have noticed that some of these guys that recently became ambassadors are coming out with some news like, boom, like, where's this coming from? I think it's like this is my opinion, but I don't think I'm too far off. They're getting news from where there's Hara, whoever from the management team. That's some of that exclusive news. I also think that they have to sign NDAs on what they can disclose. There's nothing wrong with that question, what you mentioned, but you better believe that they're not going to be able to disclose everything. I know a lot of you guys want like 70% and so on. My thing is this, right? Certain market conditions, I want to believe that they have a set plan on how they're going to go about it and so on. There's that old saying about the right timing. There's also another saying about, like, especially based off what we've seen in the past, especially with meme tokens and how that works. You don't necessarily want to do exactly what the community wants. Here's where I'm trying to go with this. Community is always going to demand certain things. They want to see action immediately. At the end of the day, you have to, them as in the leadership team, the management team, and so on, they do need to do what's right when they need to do it. You know what I mean? And to just jump the gun of, and I'm just going to throw this out there, 70% or some of these other percentages and so on. For me personally, and I've been consistent with this, and that is 2024 should be the beginning of what we talked about in regards to the stable coins. Okay. Especially with Japan. That's a big deal. On top of that, the Q4 lockup. Okay. What will be the percentage? Will it really truly be 70%? I'm just kind of leaning towards, and I know maybe you guys don't like hearing this because you're like, you applied to be an ambassador. How dare you? I don't see it being 70%. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't see it being 70%. Where I see personally, for the record, the biggest percentage will be, and again, if you look more into this, I don't think I'm too far off. I think the biggest percentage will be before the Bitcoin halving. And the reason why I state this is this. Think about it, guys. When we see BTC have these pumps and Ethereum and so on, we always reference Jasmy running correlation with it. So if it runs in correlation with it, wouldn't it also make sense that you would have a pretty significant lockup maybe at the time or before the BTC halving? And if so, then what would that do for Jasmy? And also got to keep in mind, where is the overall crypto market during that time of not just the lockups or, the stable coins going live in Japan. That, by the way, could get delayed again. But if anything, the two main things, the partial lockup, whatever that is, but especially the halving. So let's just say, I should say a worst case scenario, but let's just look at some of the scenarios. So let's say there is no lockup by the end of the year. And I'm not saying that that's the case. I don't have insider information. I'm not an ambassador or anything like that. I didn't sign no NDA. But let's say that gets pushed off. Now, for one, that's going to tick off a lot of people, but there may be some reasons for that. So that gets pushed off. Let's be real. We got to look at some what if scenarios. So on top of that, the stablecoin thing that gets pushed off again, because let's face it, foreign stablecoins, last I checked, we were supposed to get those unbanned back in June. And then I was thinking, okay, well, it's going to happen in July. Here we are, literally. Isn't tomorrow's the 31st? It's not the first yet. So we're almost here to September, and Tether and Circle is not unbanned. So you don't have those pairings yet. Now that has nothing to do with Jasmy. That's just strictly Japan's policy at the time being. I do feel as though Circle will be the first to be unbanned, and if anything, that's going to create a tremendous amount of new volume. As we know, pairings are a big deal. So again, what about, these Japanese yen denominated stable coins, all that stuff, right? Let's just say, hypothetically, it gets delayed. So we only have one thing, right? Stable coins delayed, Q4 lockup doesn't happen, gets delayed. And we're facing the BTC halving. Again, what will be huge for Jasmy? Again, in my opinion, it's just that. It's that halving event. Could we have a situation in which they don't lock it up during the halving? That wouldn't make any sense, but we'll have to wait and see. But my key thing is, again, guys, the timing of it all. Are they going to wait until there's a real big surge in the market to do so? I always use the analogy of fireworks, and I think it is a good analogy. You're not going to have the grand finale at the beginning of the fireworks show. That BTC halving is a big deal, right? That is a big fireworks show, if you will. So again, the timing of all of it, how much to, allocate or lock up. Maybe that should have been a poll question of the day. I don't know. Do you feel as though, and this goes for anybody, do you feel as though that they would have been better off to announce specific dates? I don't think so. Personally, I don't think you do dates. I think you do it based on market conditions, and to get too involved and give too much power to the community to have a say-so might not be a wise decision. And maybe I'm in the minority when it comes to that, and I'm okay with that. That's just the way I look at it. All right, going more into the comments. Cordell Lewis, do you think that the people of Jasmy and Sony are trustworthy and they can be trusted on? Yes. If I didn't think so, I don't think I would ever cover Jasmy. I'm just being honest. I'm done with the whole, how should I say this? I am not invested in meme tokens. I mean, I am from 2021, but I never really got into anything new. The last one I think I got into was Robo Inu. I know I mentioned that earlier, January 2022. So the days of me chasing down meme tokens, I just don't really do it. I know some of you guys got into Pepe, and some of you guys are really well, awesome, great. For me, I'm not doing that anymore, mainly because of the trust, right? Trustworthy. So with that said, for me personally, I do trust the Jasmy management team. I do think Hara's a solid guy. Can he do a lot better job as far as his communication? Well, of course, that's one of his criticisms, but I will give credit where credit's due. He has gone to the part where he's gone from just doing like an AMA on a Discord, not showing his face, stuff like that, to hey, you know what, this guy is doing like live conferences, showing showing who he is. I mean, remember the part, maybe not, you don't remember, but I'm sure a lot of you guys remember when he was accused of being an AI. Oh, this guy's not real. I'll never forget that. Yeah, he's totally real. So I think, yes, they're more than trusted. I just think that a lot of the criticism they get is because people don't really understand utility and motion, but we can apply that to literally everything. Ripples, XRP, all this stuff. I mean, there's still people say, They got, was it 2/3 victory over the SEC, but it's not fully done. This should have been worth $10 or $1, so on, and we're at 52 cents. Hey, I get that. But do we have Ripple's XRP fully implemented across the entire spectrum of the quantum financial system and ISO 222 fully implemented? No, we are not into November of 2025, right? There's talks about what you're going to see here soon in regards to some of these dates about, September, and I think there's another date in regards to November of this year. Those are just specifically dates. I'm still going to stick with the whole notion of, to the exception of XDC, like I mentioned before, I'm going to stick to the notion of I want to see utility fully be implemented. And we talk about the flip of the switch. Mandates are part of that flip of the switch. You flip the switch, these banks have to, use the technologies that are there and so on. They have no choice and so on, right? The BlackRocks of the world are done waiting around for, regulatory framework and clarity and all that stuff. It's already there. Is late 2025 where it's there? I'm leaning towards it. Some people feel as though no, it's 2026. I don't think so. I honestly think, consistently speaking, the reason why you see specific dates for that particular time is because that is literally the flip of the switch moments. Some people said ISO 222 March 20th was the flip of the switch. That's the flip of the switch as far as, starting to get the ball rolling for the implementation. But, there's only a few banks who actually gone on ISO 222. So is that, worldwide mass adoption as far as these technologies? No. But once we see that, whether it comes to Jasmy, Ripple, all this stuff, again, utility and emotion, that's the bottom line. And my thing is, Jasmy and the former Sony executives, the way I look at it, I do trust them. If I felt as though I didn't trust them, why would I be invested over $4,400 into Jasmy with over 1 million tokens? It's not me bragging about it, but I'm not about wasting my money any more than the next guy. And I'm not ending it there. My next goal for Jasmy is 3 million to set myself up for when we do hit $1, I take profits. Then I have a couple extra bags. My second bag is basically for $5 plus. My third bag is for some of these crazy price levels of, the KPI of $17 or more. I'm setting myself up in a situation so I don't have to prepare for the oh crap moments of scrambling of, I don't know what to do. I always suggest everybody have a plan and know what to do. Have a spreadsheet, have some kind of portfolio manage, your watch list, all this stuff. Set your price targets. If you're the type of guy in which you Jasmy, and I think it was Cash Cats, I saw the comment you made, you don't think I pay attention to some of the stuff, it's fine. A lot of you guys are going to take profits at a penny. You feel as though there's going to be retracement. You buy back in. Hey, fine. You do what you got to do. And you know what? I'm not disrespecting about that. You Cash Cats or anybody else there, we all have different reasons for taking profits, right? Your family situation might be different from mine. We all have different types of situations that we got to do that's best for ourselves and our family's best interest. So my thing is, again, it's not financial advice, but for me personally, that's just my own plan. I don't do that necessarily with everything, but if I'm invested, and I definitely am, a lot into Jasmy, maybe some people don't consider that amount, a lot. I mean, I've seen people are like, yeah, man, I got 3-4 million, Jasmy tokens. I'm just like, wow, you got a hell of a lot more than I do. That's besides the point. The point is, do I trust it? Yes. Otherwise, I would not have been so heavily invested into it. And I sure as a heck wouldn't come on a show and talk about it all the time. I'm not paid by them and so on. Originally, I was thinking that maybe I got selected to be an ambassador. It's just the OG thing, right? And I might not get selected to be an ambassador. They wanted my BSC, smart chain address. I checked that. I didn't get any pay or anything in that regard. But I think I have proven myself that whether I'm getting paid by the Jasmy team or not, I'm still going to cover Jasmy. If I don't get picked to be ambassador, I'm not going to be all butthurt about it and be like, oh no, I'm going to go slash my wrist right now or something. No, that's ridiculous. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to cover Jasmy because I believe it's a project that has solid utility and it's very underrated. And it's, oh my gosh, that risk to reward ratio is very attractive right now. Is it still labeled in that class of, high risk, high reward? Yeah, it's what comes with the territory right now. But when you consistently see the innovation that they have, and like this new thing of a new blockchain, and I was honestly not expecting that, like I said, until the end of this year. So again, I think we're ahead of schedule, and yes, long-winded answer. I do fully trust it, but maybe let's face it, you're probably asking everybody in general, and that's fine. We have a very interactive community here, and rightfully so. All right, let's go further down. Yeah, Magic Power answered you right there, 7:33. Let me see how I'm doing on time, 8:20. Nilo B is back. Stump Rider is back. Welcome back, guys. Nilo B is like, and he's also got that avatar, looking pretty strong, looking pretty buffed. What day is it today? On Wednesday, we do ARBs. Shout out to Nilo B. Wednesday, we do ARBs. What's that guy's name? Robert Frank. Check out Robert Frank. Google him sometime or look him on YouTube. He always says it. He's like, on Sunday, we do ARBs. Anyway. Luis Alvarez is in the house. He says, yo, glad to have you. Let's see here. Who else we got here? All right. So I'm just going to go further down. Crypto Winner says, man, someone at Jasmy better say something about how much someone's going to be locked up in quarter 4. You and your Jasmy, huh? I know Jasmy is not going to lock 70%, man. Right away, I had the 40% locked away before. I see 5% to 45% again. Okay. Magic Power. The Jasmy team has quarreled with those who has supported the project financially. I think the company was called Bellwood. Yeah, that's from a long time ago. After which all the coins were circulated quite quickly, which led to the price dump. Yeah, and that's where the fudders will go with that. They'll represent that chart. I mean, on release, it didn't look too good, but you also got to keep in mind, we only had like 1.5 million tokens that were in circulation at the time. I mean, totally different market cap, totally different situation. Look where we're at now. Where we at? 97, almost 98% in circulation. All right. Dwight Von Tress, welcome back. Dwight, thank you for being here. Crypto Winner says Jasmy. Oh, he actually said Jasmy. They say Yasmin. You can say Jasmy. It's all right. Jasmy making products that have practical applications, secure PC. Therefore, the value of Jasmy is not only reflected in the value of the coin, but also the value of the Jasmy shares in the stock market. All right. Lol, you're crying, huh? Yasmin, my body, my baby mama knows I got more names for her. All nice things and respectful. Okay, that's interesting. All right. You guys got anything else? Let's see. Michael Montclair. Hello, all. Finally, all better. Oh, you got over the, off of the Rona. That must have been brutal, man. Let us know, how much weight did you lose from that? That was one thing that my best friend told me. He was like, oh my God, man, I lost like 15 pounds or something. I'm just like, oh my gosh, like really in a week? He's like, yeah, it's like, that's crazy. Anyway, Calvin's in the house. He says he thinks that 2025, 2026 spot ETFs may influence both current and legacy 401k options. Interesting. Boomer F and Sooner, the one and only Mr. Boomer F and Sooner. 35 billion locked up. That would be the 70%. Well, I'm just saying. I mean, that sounds good, but I want to find out some more information in that regard. And thank you for that, Mr. Boomer F and Sooner. When it gets kind of quiet for a couple individuals, they may very well be at the 30, and they may very well be at the 20, and they could very well be at the 10. And if anything, while we're doing some of the deep dive research for Ripple's XRP with Lewis Jackson, they may have already had Just that touchdown. All right. Moving along now. Okay. Michael Anthony. A-Win trading at 20 cents, which IPO came out and went to $18, has a PE of just above 113, which business is drones and blockchain. Michael Anthony, welcome, by the way, Michael Anthony. A-Win, it also provides centralized operating system for managing open sky, hover bikes, and drones, sharing computing service and blockchain verification, and AI algorithm generation services on Japan. Sounds like it might be another great project that's working in Japan. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna read some more comments, and then I'm gonna get to the last one. The last two, I think. Actually, I'll read this because there's not much comments left. Do you know why A-Win sold off to 20 cents when it has all of those businesses and hasn't reported earnings since the IPO? No, I don't, because I don't know about A-Win. But thank you for sharing that. And guys, let's give Michael Anthony a warm welcome. All right, let's read this from Crypto Winner, and then we'll get into the next bit of what we have. It says, Boomer, I'm seeing it like it's 65% in private wallets in circulation, 35% between Binance, MEXC, and Jasmy, developer on the Jasmy. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for all that. The Jasmy information, man. All right. Let's see. 10 pounds easy. That's what I've consistently heard. You know, like 10, 15 pounds. That's crazy, man. Yikes. Well, do you feel like you're cleansed? Do you feel like you're good? You know, or do you feel like, oh man, I'm a little weak? I'm glad you're okay though, man. I really mean that, Michael Montclair. You know, we want you to be around for that generational wealth. And if anything, you know, obviously a formal invitation for the future. We have our first big meetup, right? It's going to happen eventually. Barbecue at Boomers. So is that how it works, guys? Anyway. All right, Henry Brown's got a lot of info for us. He says Uniswap wins securities lawsuit. That's good. Because you want to know something? Uniswap V4 is going to be big. Do you guys remember when I was talking about Uniswap V4? And we talked about that 99% savings? I don't know if anybody remembered that. All right. Judge supports DeFi by Diego Almada Lopez's hours ago New York court rules that the misuse of software doesn't create liability for developers. And that's from a New York court. That is pretty big deal right there. Henry Brown's got another update. However, a legal victory for cryptocurrency-focused company could clear the way for further progress, thereby benefiting blockchain businesses like Riot Platforms. Thanks, Henry. And I'm also saying to you, man, I hope that you're doing a lot well, too, with your recovery, man. And thank you again for your support, super chats, all that stuff. You don't have to super chat. Nonetheless, though, thank you very much. All right. Let's see here. Hashtag marbles. This is not the 2-bit marbles channel you're looking for. Lionel Richie. This is not the you're looking for. Lionel Richie. Well, this depends on who that person is. I mean, you know, depending on the situation of how deep I'm into the research tonight. So it could be a very well a case of this is the you're looking for Lionel Richie. All right, enough of the inside jokes. All right, Henry Brown, IRS wants to clarify digital assets reduce tax evasion for the new 1099s. All right. Jeez. That's going to be a problem for me. I got to fill out 1099 anyway. All right, let's go further down. A couple more comments, and then we'll be good, and then we'll get into the next part of what we have. We got kind of a little bit of extended coverage, but it won't be super long because I do have to pick up this kid from his job, and, you know, he needs a ride home. So anyway, let's see here. SIBA plans to offer brokerage advisory and asset management services in Hong Kong covering securities, derivatives, and crypto products. $2 super chat Max. I might as well say super chat Larry because it's not going to go to me. Just being honest about that. So, all right. Let's go into the next part of what we have. Yeah, that's being real. I mean, it literally says on screen super chat Max. And to be honest, it doesn't go to me. So whatever. All right, let's get into the next part of what we have here on the outline. And what we have is some of that more that Le Grand Commission, oui, merci beaucoup. Gen Z's crypto rebellion, South Korean youth chooses XRP over Bitcoin and Ethereum. I want to share this. This is good stuff. I mean, again, guys, this is the time for you to shine in that regard. Okay, so I want to share this. And here it is from the one and only Le Grand Commission. Oui. All right, merci beaucoup, right? All that good stuff, all that juicy stuff. Let's put some of the branding back on. Why, Max? I don't know, because we need to. All right, so basically speaking, this comes from Bitcoinist.com. What a name. And I'm just going to agree to that. So Gen Z, right? Some of you guys obviously are the older generation. Your grandkids are Gen Z. I mean, let's just be honest about it, right? Some of you guys around my age, maybe your kids are Gen Z, but whatever the case be, Gen Z's crypto rebellion, South Korean youth chooses XRP over Bitcoin and Ethereum. I mean, give credit where credit's due. All the harsh criticism that Gen Z gets, maybe they've been doing their own research. I mean, my thing is this, guys, and I'm a former teacher. I'm not teaching this calendar year, but I'm always a teacher in heart. I try to bring it to you guys and so on. My key thing is this, I do give credit where credit's due. And the Gen Z generation gets a lot of, negative press. Generalizations is a bad thing. Let's just be honest. I mean, like, there's good and bad in everything. I mean, even my generation, like, I looked on the definition of, like, am I at the cutoff of Gen X or am I at the beginning of Gen Y? Like, there's some sources on Wikipedia say, nope, I'm Gen Y. There's other sources, I think it's Britannic, that says I'm Gen X. So I'm like, whatever. I talked to my friend about this, right? He came on here a long time ago. His name is Dread from my gaming group. And his real name is Ron. And Ron basically told me, he's like, you know what, Max, let me ask you a few basic questions. We'll get more into this outline in a bit. He says, let me just ask you this, all right? And here's the bottom line, all right? When you're a kid, did you play out in the street? I'm like, dude, all the time. Okay. Did you have a bike and did you ride it everywhere? Absolutely rode a bike everywhere with my friends. Okay. Were you real active in sports? Did you play outside all the time? Yes, all the time. The playground stuff, like, did you have teeter totters and stuff like that? I'm like, yeah, I had all that stuff. Do you, get a bunch of bruises and stuff like that, and you and your friends kind of like play fight and all that? I'm like, yeah, man, messed around in the mud, play football, all that stuff. He's like, you know what? Then I don't think you're considered Gen Y. And I'm gonna think to myself, well, why does it even matter? At the end of the day, it's generalization. All right, and he agreed. But check this out, Gen Z, they do get a kind of like that harsh press, right? Bad rap. But this is good stuff because, we want to be inspired by the youth. Are they truly researching this? Seems as though that's the case. Getting more into this, South Korea, known for its tech-savvy populace and strong inclination towards crypto investments, has thrown a new trend into the spotlight concerning XRP. Yeah, shout out to you, Rich Common Sense Crypto, who watches our show, who never comments. You don't want to comment for whatever reason, but you do consistently watch our show. I know you watch your show. Shout out to Rich. Anyway, a recent report from South Korean news outlet News One Korea indicates that the nation's Gen Z displayed a marked preference for altcoins, most notably XRP, over the most established giants like Bitcoin and Ethereum. All right, Gen Z's shift to altcoins. Look at this. The findings from this analysis illuminate the distinctive investment behaviors of different age groups, especially emphasizing the choices made by Gen Z investors. I mean, they do represent a big percentage, but it's what they're invested in. They're not investing into crap. They do a lot of their own research. The investment propensity based on age revealed that Gen Z of those in their 20s are more inclined towards aggressive investment I can't even pronounce this at this point of the night. Sorry. Again, sometimes when I read too much, it's just words. Maybe it's a problem I have. I have to look into it. This emerging generation of investors is displaying a pronounced preference for altcoins, alternatives to the dominant ones, like we mentioned, BTC and ETH. In this study, Bitcoin and Ethereum are categorized as long-term and stable investments owing to their perceived low volatility market. All right. So there's more to it than this. But what I want to get into, I'm going to show you some of these stats. Hold on. What is the... all right, let me see here. Yes, this is good stuff. So even on a simple Google search, look at this. All right. I'll come out of the frame for a moment. Based off of the stats, the top 2023 Generation Z statistics. Before getting into the complete list, here's a look at Gen Z and 6 key statistics. There are 68.6 million Gen Zs living in the United States. How many people live in the United States? Roughly 375 million people. That is a big conglomerate group of people. Because at the end of the day, even when we look at this, let's blow this up. Hopefully you can see this. I'm going to blow this up a little bit more. Like it says, move over millennials, right? Which I've been accused of being. Gen Z is now the largest single population segment. Now, again, you know, when I looked at this previous one, here's the stats. Here's that little chart. This is worth noting. This is worth paying attention to because Gen Z represents 26% of this chart. So you could bash the generation all you want and say, you know, I remember back in my day, COD was a fish. Now COD is like this Call of Duty. I remember back in the 80s, it was Call of Booty. That is not what we're trying to focus on here. No. Yeah, maybe back in your generation, COD was a fish. But right now on this report, generational composition, Gen Z represents 26% in the small majority of what? This chart. So when we talk about, okay, hear me out on this, because this is good stuff. Okay, and again, shout to Legrand on this. You know, he starts out the outline, and I try to kind of go with the Mariano Rivera, right? I close it out for you. When we talk about mass adoption, and we always talk about it all the time, this is so encouraging because right where we're at as we speak, accumulation phase. Then we talk about, you know, as the years progress here soon, getting to a utility run and so on, and you hear the reports of Gen Zs educating themselves, you know, they're understanding that Bitcoin is old technology, BTC is old technology, ETH is old technology. And you see that they're investing into Ripple's XRP. And if anything, they're still recognizing the richest man in the world. He might not be currently the richest man in the world, but he's consistently been the richest man in the world. Mr. Elon Musk, that's a big deal. This is so encouraging to me, not just as an American, but also as an investor, because if they are going to take the baton, when we talk about passing that baton on to the future, you know, we talk about Web3, we talk about Society 5.0, the fourth industrial revolution and so on. My hope, my prayer is that this generation gets it. That's the bottom line, right? I mean, look at baby boomers. They used to represent the biggest majority and so on. But that period, I should say that ship has sailed. It hasn't necessarily sailed, but if you look at like what's mentioned here, you know, they are no longer the dominant group as far as majority. It's just the way it goes. I mean, people get older, they die off and so on. I remember back in the mid 2000s, I mean, remember when you saw all those automobiles, Ford Mustangs, then you saw, for instance, you know, Dodge Challengers. Why do those cars look old school? Because that generation of generation boom, the baby boomer generation, all those car manufacturers realized, you know what, this is the time this generation is retiring and they want to have these cars that they grew up with, but let's make a newer version of these cars, right? And so they did that. It's basically acting upon market, or I should say market conditions, but the generation of what dominated at that time. If you have Gen Z that represents, currently speaking, 26% of this chart, and they're recognizing Ripple's XRP as, hey, this is so much better than BTC and ETH. Hey, that's worth pointing out. That's a good thing. At least I think it's a really good thing. There's obviously this whole report on. I'm not gonna get into all this, but even IBM was a source in regards to the study. I don't know. It's just good stuff. It's so encouraging because, again, we talk about mass adoption. This generation, that younger generation, is also going to educate other generations. And of course, just like anything, we can't escape it. They're going to get older too. So it's so encouraging, right? Some people feel as though, well, what happens after the utility run? I mean, is there going to be a mass sell-off and everything's going to dump? No. You saw some comments, Magic Power, Mike Cornwell, a lot of you guys, Brian Dowie, you know who you are. You feel as though that the next bull run or bull market is the last bull run, right? Utility run. After that, that's it. Why is that it? Because the BlackRocks of the world and so on do not want to get involved in something that is just going to tank and be extremely volatile. Right. That's the key thing. When we say that these are blessings in disguise when it comes to these innovative technologies that we're invested in, are we too far off? I don't think we're too far off. We have never seen a utility run in the history of crypto yet. And always remember that, guys. It's yet. Just because we're not there yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen. When I see Danelle Dixon, speaking passionately about distributed ledger technologies and so on, have you ever looked more into Danelle Dixon's background with Stellar? Have you looked more into her family background and so on? You better believe she's educating her kids, the next generation, that Gen Z, generation. They are part of Gen Z, the early 20s and so on. What are these guys learning? Have we not been paying attention to Sorbonne? You ever notice a lot of those people are in their early 20s to mid 30s? So it's a combination of Gen Z with the millennials and so on. But my key thing is, again, what are they learning after they get out of high school? Or some of these people, they get scholarships. They're not going back to the traditional thing. And I'm not trying to brag. I'm in a lot of student loan debt. There's nothing to brag about that. I majored in business. Okay. I didn't need to major in business. I could have majored in a lot of other things. Can you imagine if I would have been put in the same situation when I first went to college of majoring in business or majoring in blockchain and distributed ledger technologies and so on? I think you guys know where I would have gone with that. I think I would have chose, I know me now, or know me then too. I would have chose the other path. I'm being honest about that. But the nice thing is you're now seeing community college, you're seeing universities, you're seeing all that stuff. And you're seeing our new generation of kids and so on, and they are excited about this. And the key thing is, what ones are they excited about? They're excited about the Stellars because it's so easy to build on that. And you can see the enthusiasm, especially when it comes to Sorbonne. And we're going to keep covering Sorbonne, whether it gets freaking 100 views or 100,000 views. Shout out to Corey Bibe. I'm glad that you saw what I was talking about. Why Sorbonne flies on the radar? Why isn't it not talked about enough? This is a major, major thing. We don't talk about Luna Classic much anymore, and I still believe in Luna Classic in the height of the bull market. I think there's money to be made here, okay? And some people are like, you just went from Stellar to Luna Classic? What the freaking hell is wrong with you? Hear me out. The reason why I mention that is because Luna Classic would absolutely kill to have what Stellar is currently doing with Sorbonne. Can you imagine 70 plus projects literally building on Luna Classic? You don't see that. We are trying to hope and pray that we even have like more than a couple handfuls of projects to build on Luna Classic and build out that ecosystem. We're always talking about burns and so on, right? But the key thing I've always pointed out for over a year now is we need to have solid projects built on it. Key thing is this. You already have that with Stellar, right? With Sorbonne, the key to smart contract functionality and all these new dApps are going to be coming out at the end of the year. This is why I consistently say, watch out by the end of 2023 when it comes to dApps, Stellar will stand out. We talk about price shock. That's another perfect example. Because again, we just need to have like an Ajax. You know what an Ajax is? I know some of you guys do. Singularity Net. That is such a premier platform, or I should say, a premier ecosystem project from Cardano's ecosystem. Like probably like the most standout one, quality project of all of them. And we've been talking about Ajax since 4 cents. Now, a lot of you guys saw that go up to like 65, maybe possibly touch 70 cents. And that was when? In a bear market, in a crypto winter. No, we're not talking about freaking Badir. Him as Jasmy, man, right? We're talking about the actual real crypto winter. So again, getting to the height of a real bull market or utility run and so on, how much do you think some of this stuff is going to be worth? And that's just one particular asset. There is so many to be, in my opinion, invested into when it comes to my portfolio, and I am. Some people have accused me of being, you're a little bit stretched too thin. Okay, maybe on some of these, right? But I'm still accumulating. I didn't stop. There's times I take pauses, but I don't stop completely. Have a good portfolio manager. I'm going to keep pounding home. Have a good portfolio manager. Have a good watch list. Always pay attention to the all-time highs, all-time lows. CMC has revamped their whole platform to show all this stuff. It used to be you had to go into the chart, click on the very top of the little graph for whatever year it was, or all-time, ATH, and then hover your little mouse pointer at the very top. You don't have to do that anymore. They have on the left side, it says all-time highs, when that date was, all-time lows. It gives you a percentage of how far it was up, how far it was down since the all-time highs, all-time lows, and so on. But the key thing is your entry points. If you believe in the crypto accumulation phase, which I know most of you guys do, you got to have some kind of plan. Because if you're just winging it and so on, that should be for beginners. Now, if you are a beginner, again, welcome. We're glad to have you here and so on. But the key thing is to always have a plan. When people talk about their goals and their plans for the future, this is generational wealth we have. You have to have some type of legitimate plan, whether it's right now on a spreadsheet, whatever the case be. I would not recommend winging any of this. That's just me. All right. Let's read a few more comments. All right. You guys are all laughing. That's good stuff. Max for president. I don't want the job. That is a crappy job. I'm good. My aunts and uncles from Oregon and overseas and so on always want me to get involved in politics. I hate politics. The only way I ever get involved in any type of politics is education reform. That's it. Education reform, and that's not for president. But thank you, Brittany. That's a nice compliment. Thank you. It goes to Larry Scratch tickets. You better believe it. And Hooters tips. You better believe it. All right. You are Gen Z, see? 1999. Oh, you're born in. That was the year I graduated high school. So I'm 18 years older than Brittany. Interesting. Huh. Now I have to think about that in my head. I don't want to reveal your age. So we always respect our ladies. But thank you for that, Brittany. Yes. And I do remember, as the saying goes, party like it's 1999 in 1999. Anyway. Crypto winner. Bitcoin miner Core Scientific issues bankruptcy warning, and the stock is down 97% for the year. You thought you were talking about Core Scientific. I don't know what you're talking about here. I'm sorry. Crypto winner. I want to buy into Core Scientific and give out blank checks to everyone. Okay. Bro, ain't no one talking about Elon Musk filing for a crypto license on X in 14 states already approved it. That makes you mad. Elon Musk X obtains license to enable U.S. crypto payments. We talked about that on the beginning of the show. You must have came late. You were late for class. You will get a thing you're gonna have to take to Miss Johnson. I was kidding. I was playing about that. You want to know something? I had kids always show up late to my class. I never made that big of it, and they always give me the stupid paper. Literally, it would always do it, right? Especially, it would say, I don't know, like a pass. Here, Mr. Stanley, this is my late pass, and they give it to me, and I'm like, what do you want me to do with it? I don't know. I'm supposed to give it to you. All right, there. I looked at it. I'll throw it in the recycling. Some kids think that we just collect a whole stack of these papers and so on. My thing is this, right? Especially when it comes to like the very beginning, like it always depends on the person's background. If this kid is literally having to walk from the opposite side of, town for crying out loud, and he's late by 2 minutes, I'm not gonna make a big deal about it. Why is that? Because my freshman year of high school, I went to a private school, Portland Christian High School, believe it or not. And I lived on 74th Avenue, Southeast 74th Avenue. And my school was on Northeast 128th Street on the opposite side of town. I had to get up at 4 a.m. just to get to school by 8:15 a.m. I had to basically take 3 buses and a light rail just to get to school. And right when I got off the final bus, I had to run across this freaking overpass. Basically, had not jog, but literally run just to barely make it there in time. And if I didn't do that, I was late. My freaking PE teacher, Mr. Lewis, I'll never forget this guy as long as I live. I tried to explain to him numerous times. Please, could you just, I always have to run across that thing. And I'm probably going to be at least like a couple minutes late. You know what he told me? He was just like, let me tell you something, son. The world is not going to give you a break in regards to anything. Your future employer is not going to give you a break on anything. So I'm doing you a future favor. So if anything, just get up earlier. Told him I did. That's the first bus of the day, and I live on the opposite side of town. Your future employer is not going to give you a break, and neither am I. Enjoy being in lunch detention. So as a result, I spent 3/4 of the year in lunch detention. It was a bunch of freaking crap is what that was. Max is still bitter about Mr. Lewis. Yeah, a little bit. So when my kids came a little bit late and they had a legitimate excuse, and then I found out from their parents because I would call, hey, do you guys really live on the opposite side of town? Look at this address. Yeah, my kid has, blah, blah. All right, no problem. You know what I mean? Other teachers, they don't do that. I would at least do that because you know what? I was in that situation. Anyway, what does this have to do with crypto, Max? Absolutely nothing. I understand. All right. Michael Anthony, how much did Bitcoin drop today? That's a good question. Let's pull that up for a second. Well, not even 1%. 0.75%. Well, that was at the time you typed that. All right. T. Lens, welcome back. T. Lens, good to see you. Here's a dab from yours truly, Max. All right. Welcome back, T. Lens. Always appreciate you being here, especially like when you watch the replay, you always put in a comment. That always helps us, kicks in the algorithm. So thank you for doing that. All right. Let's see here. Flashbacks of Mr. Lewis. Yeah, Mr. Lewis is just, he didn't care. My thing is, if I have good students and I appreciate them and they do good for me and they listen in class, am I going to make a big deal if they're late for 30 seconds? No, I'm not going to make a big deal about it, All right. Why, when Max said, let me tell you, son, I thought about Forrest Gump, son. Your mama sure cares about your school. Oh, jeez. I remember that. And then that next part, he's just like, yeah, where he gasped in and out. Yeah, I remember that. That's good stuff. All right. Let me see how we're doing on the time real quick. 8:53 p.m. Let's get into a little bit more. I don't know if I can share all of what LeGrand had because we need to see what else has been tagged. Tonight, obviously, is the community-driven news. What the heck is this? Henry Brown. What in the world? Yeah. Henry Brown, I'll send you some of that info later. Okay. I will. Might not be tonight, but yeah, you may deserve to know a little something. All right, my friend. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to get back to what we have. I like how you had some Biggie Smalls playing in the background about, who shot you, separate the weak from the opposite. Yeah. I all that bickering and beef. I don't know. That's such an awesome song, but such an awesome song that it caused two of our greatest in hip hop to be killed, which is sad. And what's up with that for a second? Let's just state this real quick before we get more into this. Why is it that if you're the greatest at something, you will either die, get killed, or commit suicide? Really, think about what I just said. When it comes to music, yes, that's true. Think about what I just said. Kurt Cobain, grunge, Nirvana, suicide. Tupac, Biggie, the greatest at their craft, freaking killed. Elvis Presley, say what you want, suicide technically, right? The king of rock. Michael Jackson, the king of pop, right? Look what happened with that. John Lennon, for crying out loud, right? Assassinated. Where does this list end? I'm just saying. I just think it's a weird, crazy coincidence. It is what it is. All right, I see Mr. OG Crypto's here. Mr. Gangster. At least Daz Dillinger is still around. River, Sorbonne, who? What's the name again? Oh, please, seriously. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump back into that community-driven news. And let's see here. I guess I need to retweet Crypto Smith stuff. Give that brother some support. All right. So let's see here. Do we have anything from Mr. Elon Musk 57 minutes ago from Jack the Rippler? We do have some extended coverage tonight because I feel very enthusiastic. I want to embrace our community that we have. You guys rock. I want to state this. You guys rock, whether I'm going to be with this platform still or not. I will do my best to always keep you guys informed and so on. But nonetheless, let's jump into the next part of what we have. And that is from the one and only Elon Musk, Mike Cornwell. Now, again, when he goes silent, there's some things that might be happening in the background. Never know when somebody's going to the 50, 40, 30, 10, right? 2010. And then, boom, if it's sooner. Or the blankety blank we're looking for, Lionel Richie. But here it is from Mike Cornwell. And again, a lot of the XRP talk tonight. So if XRP is not your thing, I'm just telling you flat out, there's a lot of it talked tonight. He references me. I will go ahead and retweet this. Let's talk about it. Jack the Rippler. Coinbase Pro added XRP USD pair because they know they will win against the SEC. All right. XRP USD pair, an actual fiat pairing. After winning, Coinbase will flip the switch and institutional money can flow into XRP. Now, of course, some people will do some criticism about this and say, well, nobody knows that. We saw a little bit about this before. That's not what happened. You got to keep in mind, before, that is a partial Ripple victory. What about a full victory? You don't think that won't happen? I'm leaning towards it will. And what about when other exchanges see Coinbase? You know what? Hey, Coinbase did it. I'm going to do it. It's just a snowball effect. How about ETS? Well, BlackRock was able to do it. Why can't we do it? So there's going to be a lot of little, as I would say, all these little boop, 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 indicators, the market doing crazy things. Take what's also happened recently with the ETS. Say what you want. Is accumulation phase coming to an end? This is why people say, I hope you have your bags packed. Because in reality, you don't really know how much time you have. I mean, last time around, we said this before, but in reality, that's the thing. Damn it, Max, I'm tired of eating ramen every day. Hey, brother, I hear you. Whatever you got to do, okay? Not financial advice, but some of you guys do get pretty drastic with it, I can relate. I can understand where you're coming from. Short-term pain for massive gains. I guess that's a good little expression. All right. So yeah, what a time to be alive. Absolutely. Thank you for that from Mr. Elon Muff, Mike Cornwell. I got a little bit more I want to share with you guys. We're going to get into this. This one is from the ISO GOAT. This was from Mr. Elon Muff as well, Mike Cornwell. Let's jump into this as well. Got a little bit of that extended coverage. Shout out to Stardog if you ever watches the replay at some point. Always points out WrestleMania and so on. This might be a little bit of that WrestleMania. We don't do it too much. It might be, if anything, be one of the last times that we do a WrestleMania on this platform, because we are getting to the end of this month, and I have some decisions I'm going to make, and we'll see what happens with it. All right, so if anything, I want to show you guys this right here, and basically speaking, it is, again, more from Elon Muff, Mike Cornwell. He may very well just, again, maybe multiple touchdowns tonight. I don't know. But here it is. And ISO Go. Everyone talked about a switch. Yes, that switch. What is that switch? Multiple switches, in my opinion. Let me see if you can see this, because this is a good report. And we don't do the extended coverage too often. ISO Go. Everyone talked about this switch. The doc says what it says. These are not my words. Check this out. We'll blow this up even more, because it might be hard to see from your couch. Or if you're like Dave Chappelle, F your couch. Buy another one, you rich freaking Brian Dowie. Not that Brian Dowie's rich right now, but basically speaking, that's what's going on. All right, so here we go. And I'll come out of the frame for this one. So here you go. This article describes the major changes implied by the regulatory changes which will become effective globally on November 19, 2023. Now, for some people, they feel as though this is the real flip of the switch. For me personally, I'm not going that route. And I'm not saying that you have to. You got to do, you got to do what you got to do. I'm kind of mixed on this. I'd rather go with like utility in motion full swing before I hop on this, but I will recognize it. These changes include the channel, Swift, Interbank, Swift Score, DTA, Bolero, and are generally referred to as Swift 2023 changes, right? Because we're always talking about what is Swift going to do, especially when it comes to ISO 222 and so on. They're that old MT messaging technology, outdated from the early 1970s. There's impacted business models. I'm not going to get into all this, but I'm going to read this highlight. Swift activation setting. 2023 functionality can be activated via a central switch. The new functionality can be switched on, switched off in the application, allowing you to view and test the functionality before the activation date in November 23. I mean, activation date. All right. I don't want necessarily just activation dates. I want activation switches on and to stay on, because in my opinion, that's utility in motion. And maybe big things happen then, but I think the biggest things are going to happen not then, but what? Late 2025. Right? But it's worth pointing out. Absolutely, it's worth pointing out. And I'm glad that Mr. Elon Muff, Mike Cornwell, shares this with us. All right. There's a little bit more in regards to this. Obviously, we're going to share this as well. Hold on a second. Let me pull this up. So obviously, Mike Cornwell's got a little bit more, I believe. I think it was from the other night. So I'm going to share this with you guys. I'm just going to pull up my own Twitter. Excuse me for a second. And let's get into some of these key things. This is the one I was talking about earlier with Zach Rector. This is good because earlier we were talking about, the whole concept. Let me just come back into this. We were talking about these dates. So that one was November 19th, right? What about what Zach Rector's talking about in regards to a full-fledged Ripple victory? Not a partial victory against the SEC, but that full victory. When is that? All right, let's talk about that because we did tease that earlier. I know a lot of you guys watch Zach Rector live. I mean, if you don't know who he is at this point, I don't know, tell you. But basically speaking, Zach Rector, why am I not following him on? I'm following him on YouTube but not Twitter. I'm going to follow him on Twitter too. So he states, hold on a second, let me pull this up.
September.
There we go. Zach Rector states, will the SEC versus Ripple lawsuit be settled in September? That's the bottom line. He's going to give you a specific date. He's going to reference Brad Garlinghouse. He's going to talk about what Brian Dowd was talking about in regards to Brad Garlinghouse in Vegas with his comments and so on. So this is all addressed in this minute. There's a longer interview, but this is, I guess you could say, some of that juicy stuff. Smash that like. Give Zach Rector a follow if you haven't done so already. Yeah, let's go ahead and play this. Here we go.
The SEC versus Ripple lawsuit is going to settle up here in September. Now, I know what you guys are thinking, and let me be clear, this is just my speculation, but let me explain why I think we see this case settle up here in September. So Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple just put out that we're going to be having a celebration on the 29th, and Brad says, as promised, it's time for that proper victory party. Now, this comes from his statements in XRP Vegas, and I was in that room in XRP Vegas with my glass of wine in hand, listening to Brad Garlinghouse, and huge shout out to Brad for showing up there with us. But he said, very specifically, he said that when we win this case, then we're going to have a proper party. Well, it appears to me Ripple and Brad are already putting out the announcements for the proper party. To me, that leads me to believe that this case is already done and settled up. Now, in addition to that, if you go look at Mary Jo White, former SEC official, and she represented Purdue Pharma, she actually settled up with the United States government while representing Purdue for one of the most historical settlements in the history of the U.S. The SEC versus.
All right. So what do you think? Legitimate thing that he just mentioned? It's going to settle up here in September. You know, Brad Garlinghouse talking about like the real celebration with the champagne glasses and so on. I mean, I don't necessarily do that, right? I understand how big of a real true victory that can be. Some people feel as though, well, you know, that would make Ripple over $1. We'll see. We'll see. You know, last time around, I thought it was going to be a lot higher than it was. But nonetheless, a full victory is a good thing. And it's not just a good thing just for Ripple's XRP. It's a great thing for all of us. You know, you talk about the snowball effect that you saw earlier, you know, possibly the whole thing with Coinbase, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, you better believe other exchanges will follow suit. So again, when we talk about a big win for it all, even if you're not invested into Ripple's XRP, you could appreciate that, hey, you know what? Let's go, right? All right, a little bit more of what we have, but before we get into it, we're going to read a few more comments. Obviously, welcome OG Crypto, Mr. Gangsta. Measure Power. That's the thing about being a legend. If you don't die early, it's not a legend. That's a good point. Crypto Winner. Yo, about Google picking Solana over Cardano. That's another show for another day, man. Maybe you could share that. You have Twitter. Why don't you hop on that, man? And give me the taggies, right? All right. Stump Rider, welcome again. I love how technology moves. Shiba Inu is no more a meme coin. It's moved on. True. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, here's the thing. As we speak right now, we talk about metaverse, okay? Think about this for a second. And maybe I'm losing some connection. So I'm kind of having a problem with connection real quick. Hopefully, I might be a little blurry. Okay. So when we talk about utility in motion, in reality, if you think about it, Shiba Inu in the future, I still full-heartedly believe this, that they will still have these standout, polished, you know, shippers, if you will, metaverse platform and so on. It's not that there's one platform that will be the most, or it could be, I should say, that would be used over other ones and so on. But they do stand out as being in that AAA style metaverse platform. Now, if you think about it, all metaverses are kind of like the concept of what we see with the malls right now. You know, those malls that, if you're around back in the days, you know, especially like 80s and 90s and so on, I mean, that was a thing, you know. I remember going to the malls and with my friends and so on and asking some honeys for some, you know, getting some of those numbers, right? That was a big deal back in the day. Hey, man, Max, let's get some numbers, man. Let's go to the mall. All right, let's do that. But a lot of malls, let's face it, are like ghost towns basically right now. And the key thing is this: the metaverses, currently speaking, are also like ghost towns, but not in a sense in which like they were already built and there was a bunch of people on them and then they fled. No, what we have right now is various different metaverses and so on, but you don't have a lot of people into them yet. But there will be a time where people will be on there doing the shopping and so on. So again, another key thing about that crypto accumulation phase, there will be that mass adoption just as much as there are going to be a lot of people using the metaverse in the future. Like the old saying goes, if you build it, they will come. But it's not necessarily a case of, you build it, they come, they all leave before the thing is even completed. No. Work crushed you today? I'm sorry, OG Crypto, man. Maybe sometimes you think people don't care. I care. We're all going through something, man. You guys, can you do me a favor? If you've never done this, I want to state this real quick. I always tell some of my students, because I used to teach World War II history and social studies. I loved it. Every single time around springtime, we would always be able to teach about D-Day and stuff like that. That was like my highlight of my teaching career, if you will, that time of the year. All right. So I just want to state this. I always tell my students this. You guys love Saving Private Ryan and stuff like that. There's a movie that you should watch that is really good, but it's not as popular, A Thin Red Line. Now, why would I mention this? Because basically speaking, it's more to it than just a war movie. All right. It's about a movie about how every man, and maybe some women are going through this too. Right? I'm not sexist, but every man is going through something, right? Fighting their own battles inside, right? That's the bottom line. And the movie, in my opinion, does a good job of kind of explaining that and so on. Never had a chance to, I think there was a book. I never had a chance to read the book. It might be a lot more deep, but the point is, we've all been through something which work crushes us. I remember years ago being a laborer when I was like 18 years old, right when I moved from Portland, Oregon to Phoenix. I had to get a job. I had to get a job quick. And that was all that was available. And working out in the hot sun, especially in Phoenix, as a laborer, making $5.50 an hour and doing hard manual labor, hauling up granite tile and marble and ceramic with my bare hands and, doing up on Squaw Peak, which is like on an incline. And, everybody else is using the wheelbarrows, and we had to get this job done. So you have to freaking manually pick it up with your bare hands, and you got to bust your what all day for barely nothing. And then to make matters worse, I drove a 1977 Chevy Impala that only got about 12 to 15 miles a gallon. It was like a freaking boat. And I was dating this girl that lived on the opposite side of town, Apache Junction, which is like literally a 2-hour drive from where I'm at. And so we get paid weekly. But every time I would go out to see her all that way, I'm wasting my whole paycheck on gas, movies, popcorn, dinner, whatever. Eventually, I know it sounds bad, I had to break up with this girl because I couldn't afford to date her anymore. True story. Anyway. But yeah, man. Work crushed you. I'm sorry. I hope things get better for you, man. All right, let's see here. Read a few more comments. Coinbase Pro is still live. I don't see why it wouldn't be, but yeah. OG Crypto, I need another 6 months of serious investment. All right, here's about Coinbase Pro. Count on Mr. Badir to give you the info. Coinbase Pro, $29.99. Sign up, make your trades, buy your crypto then. Cancel the membership, get free Coinbase Pro for the month. I do it 12 times a year. What the heck? That's awesome. She's like, really? Like, you could just taught me something, right? I just learned something. What the heck, man? That kind of reminds me of like AOL back in the day where you get the disc. I mean, you guys from the older generation, you know what I'm talking about, right? Get that darn disc, do that trial, get another disc. You know, you burn up all your stupid disks, right, with different emails and all that stuff. All right, who's got the net zero? Burn that all up. Who's got the Juno? Same thing, basically, is net zero, right? Anyway, but what was the sacrifice we had to make? Crappy internet, 56K, or in my case, 28.8K. 28.8K. Brittany, if you're still watching, you do not understand the pain of 28.8K. All right, you may think that 2 megabytes a second download is bad. You got to keep in mind this, Brittany, okay? And that is this. 1,000 kilobytes make a megabyte. I had a 28.8K modem. You know what that meant? 2.8K download, okay? So if it takes 1,000 kilobytes, all right, to make a megabyte, you can see how brutally bad my internet was. You know, it was so bad. Had to leave my internet plugged in all night long and then go to school. If my mom wasn't home, you know, I was just like, I'm going to plug in the internet. I'm going to download this video game I want, right? It took all darn day to do it and night. Ugh, it was so brutal. So brutal. Anyway. All right, let's read this for Crypto Winner. Your stocks are AAAU. That's a lot. I'm not going to read all that. You got Wendy's. Wendy's stock, huh? Yep. Is a thin red line awesome? Hold on. Thin red line is awesome. You just asking it, is it awesome? Or are you saying it is? I can't get clarification on it. Let's see here. Love you guys. I got to go and I'll watch later. No worries. It's about to end here soon. Thank you, OG Crypto, Mr. Gangsta. You going to tell us about the days of way back? All right. All right. No problem. With that said, I think I do need to end things tonight. We were going to have a little bit more, but I just got, apparently I didn't even realize it until now. Got a couple missed calls from this kid, which probably tells me he got off a little early and, you know, he doesn't want to stand out in the hot, you know, the hot outside. Believe it or not, what is the temperature? Yeah, 101 degrees. It's 9:16 at night, and it's 101 degrees outside. What the heck is wrong? Unbelievable, right? So I'm going to get going. I do appreciate you guys. We'll try to chop up some of this stuff maybe later. Make sure you check out the Casper video of the day. And then also we have a quant video that was released. Got to catch up, obviously, from yesterday and so on. But God bless every single one of you guys. Thank you so much for being here. We do joke around in regards to the, you know, the 20, the 10, and the touchdowns and all that stuff. But, you know, whether your name is Boomer F Sooner or you're, you know, the guy that just likes to yell out Mr. Lionel Richie, it's been great covering some of the stuff with you guys. We'll be back here tomorrow, roughly around 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, for more of that Crypto Talk Now. Pay attention to what's going on in the market, and we'll, again, see you tomorrow. So smash that like on your way out. It's been a good show, guys. Sayonara from the Rice Crop Consortium. Shout out to Magic Bala. Oi. And in the words of Hara, let's go. Yes, let's go. I like how he says that. It's kind of cool. He does say it. You know what? Before we get out of here, I know it sounds crazy. I'm telling you flat out. You're going to be walking around your house. You're going to be thinking about the show. You're going to go to make a sandwich, or you're going to have some cheese and crackers, or where the heck you do, Hot Pocket, Kool-Aid, whatever the case be. Fat juice, I don't know, right? And literally, out of nowhere, guaranteed, you're going to say out loud, you're going to be like, let's go. Yes. Shout out to the Jasmy Navy, Air Force, Army, Armed Forces. Let's go. Wait. Say that out. Bye-bye.
Singing this song, I see I was wrong. To chain you down, I was the clown. I'm singing this song, I see I was wrong. To chain you down, I was the clown. I know now what you're all about. I've had
Oh, let's go. Rice Cup Consortium. Let's go. Sayonara.